Hello. Yay. Oh, I love you guys. I missed you too. I just thought I missed you. Hi. Hi. I am back. Hello. Oh boy. Want to get queso and chippy? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Here we are. Here we are. Melly, thank you. You're awesome. All of you. Hi. Happy Friday. I've been MIA. I'm on time. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. This is exciting. I know it is. It is. Hello, welcome back. I have been MIA for the last 2 days. Oh Lord. We can talk about it. But let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Hello, welcome back. It is Friday. Thank you for being here. We are going through the last month of the Mackenzie, Shirilla, and 𝐷𝐷𝐸𝐴 texts. And yeah, I have been MIA for the last 2 days. But anyways, we'll talk about it later. We're going to be dropping the second channel this weekend. So as soon as that is up and ready to be presented to you guys, I will start dropping the link and we can take more personal conversations over there. Again, hi, I'm Melly. Welcome. This is my house. This is my channel, all things true crime. We are going to, I don't know if we will get done with it tonight or if there'll be a part 2 of the end or if we'll get through the end tonight, but I don't know how long it is. Nonetheless, tomorrow we're going to be back with more Mackenzie text messages between her and her dad. So the Mackenzie saga continues. Don't you even worry. And there's a lot going on in my personal life that I do want to share with you guys. So nonetheless, when I do drop the second channel, I hope to see you all over there. Mackenzie Shirilla text messages. Let's get right into it. July of 2022, which is the month of the crash. So it's a big deal for us here, for those of us who have been here. I will put this chat up on the screen. I really don't like to because some people be doing too much. You know what I mean? Like some people be doing way too much. Okay, but can you guys see me and hear me okay? I saw Evie in here. Hello, Drakey. Jennifer. Hello, Yvonne. Hi, Tippy. Hello, Mary Beth. Hi, Midnight. I know. You guys were chasing. I love it. I love being chased by you guys. I know you guys love it too. Yeah, I'm so excited. I didn't miss this live. No, you did not. How have I been doing this? I don't know. You tell me. I do want queso and chips. Thank you very much. Hello, Patty. Hello, Nicole. Hello. How's your butt? My That's not good. I've been MIA. I have drama to tell you guys. I got a lot of stuff to say, but I feel like I should wait for the second channel. Are you guys going to subscribe? It's like a more personal vibe. We can still talk true crime, but not like we do here. So are you guys down? That's adults only, rated R. That's it. That's what it is over there. Yes, Babelets all need to go over there. Thank you, Midnight. And hey, Mallory. Babelet, Power, Tia, and I saw Tasha. Hello. Sounds good. Okay, let me just shut the fuck up and pull up the text messages so we could get started. Yes, please. Okay. Heck yeah, second channel. Oh yeah, you ain't ready for it. You know, if you're gonna be bitching like Mackenzie, it's probably not gonna be your thing. We're gonna have fun over there. You know I'm coming. Yeah, it's like we're going to be talking like the prison community. We're going to be talking makeup. We're going to be talking personal life. We're going to be talking drama, YouTube drama. We're going to be talking just everything. Dancing. I'm going to be doing karaoke for you guys. It is time we do karaoke again. And it actually wasn't really karaoke. It was Melly having too many buzz balls and singing to you guys. So we will be doing that there. Absolutely. And I saw Tara becoming a member. I think you were already a member, maybe. Just renewing. Nonetheless, I appreciate it. Let me put the comments up on the screen. Oh, StreamYard's been doing like a bunch of stuff. Oh, but it's gonna block them, so maybe not the text. Okay, it's okay. 2 minutes, Dougie Fish. Yeah, I love it. Okay, good. And please hit that like button. I know you guys are like, Melly, but why? Why do you keep saying hit the like button? And Melly, why do you have so many ads? Like, it just helps the channel, us smaller creators. I am dedicating myself full-time to true crime. I love it. I can't help it. I'm obsessed with you guys. You're gonna call police. It's weird. But yes, I am trying. That's basically my goal. So if you thought you have already had enough of me, You absolutely have not. Um, we're gonna be doing like 24/7 Melly. Yeah, and that's something we'll talk about. Hey Mo, good to see you, love. And shout out to you, Shelby, for becoming a new member. Things I don't want to hear ever again after. It's a great way to support, by the way. Sorry, I keep switching, like I can't focus. But thank you, Shelby, for becoming a new member. I appreciate it so much. It really is a great way to help support the channel. Mary Beth says, things I don't ever want to hear again after hearing text. Bet. I know. Bet. I want some Chick-fil-A too. Listen to Melly or issues. Period. Okay. We left off literally July 1st. Are you shaking your boots? I know you are. Okay, let's continue. I've been from the last, and I'm so excited for tonight. Yes, I know, but I was doing like a little sneak peek on the live for tomorrow with Steve Shirilla, and it's like a whole different mindset. I feel like reading through the Dom and Kenzie text is one thing, and then like revisiting old stuff that I've covered, I'm like, it's a whole different perspective. I think after listening to the gel calls too that we have done here together, there's a whole Mackenzie playlist. It's different, I think, when you hear the text, when you know what it was actually like, you know? Hey, Sarah, you made it on time. Yes, Lucas. Yes, oh my God, my heart. I know. Okay. Melly, great to see you. I know it's great to see you guys too. Happy Friday. I hope you guys have had a great week. I have had a week filled with lawyers and drama and bullshit. So with that being said, I'm excited to be here, get through these text messages. And like I said, that will be stuff we can talk over on the second channel. So I hope you guys all join when I and my mods start dropping that link this weekend, hopefully. So July 1st, she is texting Dom. Let's see. She is saying, oh, carrots, broccoli and carrots. I think they were going to make dinner. Yeah. She was like talking to him about that. How long, she says, on July 1st. I'm sorry. Yeah, July 1st. She says, question mark, where you at? She sends TikTok links. And then he says, main causes of blood. Okay, so now it jumps to July 2nd. So main causes of blackouts is a blood flow. Let's just try getting you vitamins that support that. Kenzie says, so are you saying I'm vitamin deficient or something? I don't even know. Dom says no. Kenzie says, the one I had was just probably the worst blackout pain level I've had. Oh, so remember, she has POTS. So I'm wondering, oh my goodness. So she brings up her POTS condition here. But remember, it was not brought up in the accident, like really, until her defense needed to come into play. So she did mention this then prior to the crash, that she was having blackouts. What the hell? I know. Does that change, Melly, after dark tonight? Yeah, I'm in the mood for one, Mary Beth. Are you guys shook by this? And does it change your opinion of things now? What if she's plotting? I wouldn't put it past people, man. I really wouldn't. Interesting. She says, the one I just had was probably the worst blackout pain level I've had. I'm scared it's just going to get worse. Dom says, what I'm saying is your blood vessels aren't working right to get enough blood to your brain. That's why you black out. But you can take vitamins that will help your blood flow. He says, cancel that order and give me my money back, or I'm keeping whatever's here. Okay, so let's go back to see what time that was at. Okay, it says 1:30 p.m. They must have fought on the phone. Because he says, or I'm keeping whatever's here. She says, stop texting me. Be mad about a mistake. You're a whole ass joke. Keep treating me like this. See where that gets you. One of these days, you're going to have to learn to fight your own battles. If you're worried about money, you could have said, no, I wouldn't have cared. Dom says, I wasn't worried about money. You were disrespectful. She says, it's so much more than that. And I wasn't. Telling you I'm freaking out isn't disrespectful. Like I said, stop texting me. Dom says, you just texted me. She says, actually, you know what is disrespectful? Putting my stuff outside, taking the cushions from under me, and blocking me from charging my phone. So this is July 2nd. Melanie, can you do basic math? Not right now. whatever. It's like 20 something days before the crash. It's a pea-sized brain. Did she even have one? At Pots too, it can really sucks if you have blackouts. Oh, thank you for sharing. Meredith's like, nope, she did it on purpose. It didn't work, says Patty. What the hell? I know. It's a pea-sized brain. Oh. Dom put her stuff out. Dom was like really just trying to break up with her, you guys. Hello, Debbie, my love. She was planning and plotting this for a long time. Oh my God. Yes, and we're seeing the proof here. I mean, I know we already knew and we have our feelings about Kenzie, but like this right here is crazy. It's proving, yeah, exactly that. She was planning and plotting. They were acting on these calls. They figured out people were listening. This was before the crash, so who was listening? Hey, Babelets. Hey, Lorianne. Let's continue. She says, taking the cushions from under me, blocking me from charging my phone. Dom says, after you were very disrespectful and refused to leave my house. Yeah, I'm gonna put your stuff outside. I'm allowed to kick you out. It's my house. You robbed me for all my money on your card before that. She used his money on the card. Oh my goodness. You do Pizza Hut, slut? Well, that sucks. That sucks that you get those. All she ever mentioned was anxiety. She robbed Dom. She used all his money when they were fighting. Holy shit. That's crazy. Are we surprised? No. Kenzie says, you put the money on my card, stupid. Clearly you're worried about money because you can't stop bringing it up. I live there too. We are witnesses that no, not by choice. Dom did not want you there. You were threatening to blackmail him. You were going to blackmail him. Oh, thank you, Mary Beth, my love. She gifted a membership. Who got it? Who got it? Okay, there we go. It's delayed on my end. Okay, there we go. Wait, what? I can't see. I know, because it's delayed on my end, so I can't see who got it. But thank you, Mary Beth. I really, really, really appreciate you. Yeah, I can't see who got it. But thank you. I appreciate you. She had to tell him to keep not locking the door. I know. Oh, Callista got it? Yay! Oh, Callista. Thank you, Callista Cats, for being here. And yes, thank you to Mary Beth for gifting a membership. That's so very kind of you. It really is. Shout out to you, Mary Beth. You guys are like, can you read? Can you see? Like, you have glasses on. She says, I live there too. He says, I'm not going to spend all my time fighting with you. She says, you can't just kick me out. He says, goodbye. She says, like I say every day, you're immature, lacking communication skills, and being unloving. She says, I will be back tonight. He says, no, Kenzie, if you want this relationship to have any chance to work, you will leave me alone. She says, I will be back tonight. He says, no. She says, I don't do breaks. Yes, I will. Thank you for proving my point, though. Then she says, I know you lied. He says, we're done then if you can't leave me alone. She says, go be alone. I'm going to be on the couch. You're a liar and will always be one. Smiley. Can't keep a single promise you make. You don't take relationships seriously. You don't take relationships seriously. You think this is some game. You're messing your life up and you're going to be real embarrassed when you see. Dude. She's nuts. Literally sick in the head. No, she really is. So yes, I will be back tonight. I'm the only one keeping this relationship together. If you want any chance of this relationship working, you will start giving effort and well-thought responses fast. Dom says, Kenzie, I'm not arguing with you. It's a waste of life. Oh my gosh, Dom, honey, did you just realize this? Like, 3 years. Ugh, too late. He says, "It's a waste of life." They really need to learn how to spell. It really bugs me. She says she loved her own message. He says, "You should have just left when asked." She says, "I live there too. It is our house. I don't give a F about no paper." He says, "No, you don't. It's my mom's house. I rent it and pay the bills." She says, "I sleep there every day and night." She says, "Did you just break up with me?" He says, "I did." 29 days before she murders him. She says, "Okay, then we're done." Bummy AF. He says, "Okay, then." He says, "Should have just respect me. Goodbye." Then she sends a picture of Dom. Oh, geez. Here we go with Dom's like apology message. Cheese and rice. Cheese and rice. Addict. And once you leave, it takes courage to leave. I know. He says, "Kenzie, you know I love you, but I don't think we should be together at this point. There isn't very much time on earth, you know?" What the? Is he like foreshadowing his death? He says, "I'd like to think we could stop fighting, but it's a breakup fight every week. Neither of us deserve that. I don't want to fight all the time. I know you don't either. Anyone who's around anyone every day of the week is bound to fight. If we can't separate for a little, then we are only going to fight more. I don't want you to think I'm abandoning you. I wish it could work, but I don't think this is going to at this point, especially with the threats. We should just break up so we can both find happiness somewhere else." I'm tripping out. I can't even read it because I'm tripping out. Wow. He says, "Say I don't love you all you want, but I promise you I do. I want the best for both of us, baby. I'm sorry we're fighting. I love you." He says that on the 2nd at 2:45 PM. He says, "Is that okay?" And then at 4:03 he says, "Look, I'm sorry. Talk later." Kenzie says, "You can't keep doing this. So are we talking or not?" He says, "You want to talk tomorrow?" She said, "No, I don't. This needs to be over or figured out for good." Interesting. He says, "Well, you wanna go our separate ways and try to work it out?" She says, "You broke up with me. Are you forgetting that? I tried to work it out earlier, but you couldn't handle it and broke up with me. This isn't going to happen every day." Dom says, "You used to break up with me every day. Look, I don't wanna fight every day either. That's why I broke up with you. And you weren't trying to work out. You were on my couch. I gave you 3 choices: fix it, apologize, or leave. And you couldn't do any. And when you said, 'Oh, I had to order it, so technically you didn't get it for me,' that pissed me off. Like, I'm down 40 to 50K and I spend 300 on you and you say that? Like, damn." Kenzie said, "So what's going to happen?" So, with 15 question marks, she says, "Answer. I don't have time for this BS." I said, "This needs to be figured out or we're over." He says, "Kenzie, you need to act right." She says, "And you don't? Do you think you've been acting right? You think everything you did this morning was okay and you don't have to apologize for anything? You're the one who reached out to me to say later, now figure it out." Dom says, "Kenzie, I acted fine for a grip." He says, "You wouldn't leave and you were being mean." She says, "You're the one who reached out to talk to me. Figure this out. What is it going to be? Are we talking or did you just reach out to me for no reason?" Dom says, "Well, how do you feel about it?" She says, "Just answer the question. You know how I feel." Dom says, "What do you suppose happens? I reached out to you for a reason." Kenzie says, "I think that's a question you need to answer because you're the one who reached out to me to talk." Dom says, "Can we both fix this? Can we both give each other space when needed?" Kenzie says, "Giving space is not kicking somebody out of the place that they live. That's not even the problem that became of the problem. This all started because I made a mistake and told you I was going to freak out because it was stressing me out. Then I asked you if you were mad at me, and then you said yes because I did not order shorts when I literally forgot. He says, "Yeah, I remember just saying, just cancel order and order it again or just apologize. You couldn't do that though. And then I told you to apologize, fix it, or leave, and you refused to. But I really didn't do anything besides making you leave." She sends a screenshot of the message. She says, "I'm not done thinking of everything you did, but this is a start." He said, "What help is that going to do?" "I did all of that because," Kenzie says, "I don't know how, since works, you know that I couldn't fix it. And after you were already mean, I wasn't going to do anything for you." Dom says, "You wouldn't leave or apologize." She says, "I live there too." Dom says, "Let's fix it." She says, "Oh, you also took my belongings outside. You tried to tell my mom about that Grace shit." Dom tried to tell Natalie Shirilla about the feet sex. You know what I'm talking about? The feet sex. Dom woke up and he can see clearly now the rain is gone. Oh no, she's actually incapable of saying sorry. Dude, she doesn't live there. She's a bum. I know she is. She's a bum. Great. Now he's backtracking. Why does he do this? Why? Why? I'm screaming. Why does he why does he want to make up with her? Oh my gosh. Maybeth says, she says she's the prettiest girl in prison. She probably got the worst heart. Looks fade when you're old. What will she do then? That's funny. I don't know. 269. What up? She says, "You try to tell my mom about that Grace shit." Dom says, "All those besides just being mad, you just all because you didn't fix the problem." There's typos here. Kenzie says, "There's stuff I can't tell you. It doesn't matter. I would never do that to you, but it's so easy for you to do it to me. You think I'm disposable." Yes, you are. Well, I guess not, because he didn't get an opportunity with someone else. He said, "But she is still disposable." Dom says, "No, I just wanted you to go home for the day, but then you wouldn't leave and made it worse of a fight. So I wanted you to just leave for the night." Kenzie says, "And I would have right away if you didn't take my stuff outside or not let me come back. You did it to yourself. Oh, and you also try to blame me for breaking a hole in your bathroom when you know I said sorry and it's not even a hole." Dom says, "I mean, you did say that. I didn't even get it out for you because you had to order it when I paid for it. That made me mad." Kenzie says, "When I ask you to buy me something, I want you to buy it. Buying it from my card doesn't make it special. It still stresses me out." Okay. Well, buy it yourself with your own money. Like, I'm glad I never went to. I know. Mallory, you're killing me. She says, "It stresses me out." Dom says, "That's what really made me mad, for real. And then saying you should have said you couldn't afford it when you were rude to me." Kenzie says, "Oh, thank you for letting me buy it. I would rather you buy it yourself for me." Dom says, "Well, you should have let me do it. And you put the money on." Kenzie says, "It's still on my phone. You're supposed to do with your card, your phone, then you're buying it for me." Dom says, "You asked me for it off of your phone." Kenzie says, "And you told my mom you're down $40,000. So clearly you're worried about money, which I'm not mad about." She says, "No, I didn't. I just asked you to buy me it. I asked if you could get it for me." Dom says, "Nah, this isn't cool." Kenzie said, "So what is it going to be? You clearly reached out to me just to argue more. Are we going to work this out or no?" Dom says, "Kenzie, if I'm spending $300 on you, I'm spending $300 on you, period. So if I spent your money, let's say, but ordered it off my phone, that'd be getting you something." She says, "What?" Dom says, "I spend your money, but order it off my phone. Then it'd be getting you something." Kenzie says, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying buying it off my card makes me buying it. I still have to go with the stress of buying it and checking out. It stresses me out doing that. If you put all this information on your phone, that would be you buying it for me. Dude, she can't like add to cart and like check out. I mean, they make it so easy for you. You can basically do it drunk on Apple Pay now and buy whatever the hell you want. Even toe sex. I don't condone it. I don't judge. I don't judge, but I judge Kenzie. um, hmm, interesting. Very, very interesting. Online shopping stresses her out. Yeah, I guess she doesn't have the energy to add to cart and stuff. I don't know. I actually have an addiction to that. I just constantly do it all day long. What is wrong with her? I don't know. First Liberty says I'm judging. She's so materialistic. He says, because I think if I said it, I paid for it, I meant I got it for you, period. Why are they having an argument about this? This is insane. You're not going to catch me arguing about things like this. Maybe that's why people think I'm petty and ignorant, but I'm really not. Um, like this is a waste of so much energy. I could not even. Like, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Pay him back. I don't know. Whatever. Get over it. She says, today I bought the outfit with your money. You did not buy me anything. I bought it myself with your money, which I thank you for letting me use your money to buy. She's literally bitching about having to use her phone to buy something with somebody else's money. Am I reading that right? I swear I haven't had any buzzballs yet. What the hell? My money? Dude, Alicia. Hi, babe lit. What day are we on? Ooh, we're on the 2nd. We're in early July. Yeah. Her thought process is insane. She says, which I thank you for letting me use your money to buy. She never pays him back. So it's much more than just using his money, right? She's never paid anything back. Not for the Balencies, not for the carts, not for her eyelashes that made her look like she had pink eye, not for her nails that are as long as my hair. Like, you know what I mean? He says, you have stress of ordering clothes, but I don't have stress making money. Oh my God. Kenzie says, you could have said no to buying it. How many times do I have to tell you this? I would not have cared. Dom says, you don't think $300 is more stressful than ordering it? He's literally like shitting himself. She wants to be a princess. Pie's like, not in America. Not in America. Yes, Johnny Depp, you read that right. Oh gosh, she does give Amber Turd vibes too. Ugh. That's not very nice. All Dom gets in return is attitude. I know. I know. Okay, let me see. Um, oops. He says, you don't think $300 is more stressful than ordering it? Seems like you don't care that I got it either. Kenzie says, see, you're just turning this into another fight right here. I'm not doing this. Dom says, I feel unappreciated. Kenzie says, are we working this out or not? Have you ever even been reading anything I said? I said, thank you for buying it like 1 million times, like I always do. Question mark, question mark. You feel unappreciated and I feel unheard. I guess things don't change. Dom says, well, you can't seem to get this. I feel unheard. I'm trying to speak to you and you keep asking if we're working it out. I'm trying to right now. Kenzie says, this is texting. Working it out is in person. You can't hear tone in text. You can't feel love in text. Dom says, I'm just saying how you talked to me today wasn't good. I'm gonna get mad. She says, how you treated me today was not good either. Dom says, if you making me mad in those situations, fix it or remove yourself from the situation. I literally told you. And I was all mad and you just go outside and read or something. Like, that's not going to make me any more mad. Kenzie says, that would be a great example of giving space. I would be inside on the couch and you would be reading. That wasn't supposed to make you mad. That was supposed to cool you down. Or I could have went outside, but then you probably would have locked me out and been unfair. Dom says, no, Kenzie, you didn't say it like that. She says, and you didn't tell me to leave nicely. Dom says, look, Kenzie, if I'm mad, I'm not going to be able to focus on reading. I'm going to be mad for a little. LOL. Kenzie says, I'm about to be done texting. So are we going to work it out in person or are we done? He says, let's just work it out in person tomorrow. Kenzie says, no. He says, yes. She says, I'm not doing that. You know, I do not want to sleep here. The water and the food and the sleep will always be a problem here. Okay, so it's not Dom's responsibility to come save you from your loser parents, Kenzie. Will the real Natalie Shirilla and Steve Shirilla please stand up? Like, your daughter hates you and you're sending her money for like honey buns and shit and Crocs. I don't know. Dom put his money because she didn't have a job or goals in her real life. Her plan was to sell herself online. Yeah. She gets off on being the, yeah, I know. My friend and I were just talking about Amber. Yeah. How's the food and water in prison, Kenzie? Ew, it tastes like shit. I've never been to prison, but I can only imagine. Um, you really do just become accustomed to it. That was what I hear. You just really get used to it, and it's like nothing. You're eating wet, soggy biscuits and gravy that taste like rotten cheddar cheese and rotten gravy with like rocks in it. I don't know, something like that. Dom should have moved in the middle of the night. I know. And the meat stacks. Now he can't even get her to leave this house. She's insane. I know. Okay, let's continue. She says, the food, water, and sleep will always be a problem here. And I don't want you to effing drop me off food and water. Dom says, why can't you sleep there for one night? Kenzie says, you texted me to work it out tonight or later, and it is now later. So you texted me for no reason. Why can you just never stop lying? Dom says, how am I lying? I don't think we were going to be able to work this out right now. I think tomorrow will be better. I tried texting and it's not going well. She says, no, I'm ready to work it out tonight, or I'm not trying to do it at all because clearly you're just done with this relationship and I'm all disposable to you. Dom says, I don't think it'll go better when you're here. She says, I do think it would go better in person like it always does. Ew, it's a trip. She can't really give him a space. Give him a space, just one space. Give him space. My apologies. Give him a space. She says, I do think it would be better in person like it always does. The reason you don't think it's going to work out was because of you. Are you saying you can't be respectful and communicate? Are you just going to ignore what I see in person? Like, why is it so hard for you to just use your communication skills? Dom says, I don't think it's not going to work out because I think you're going to be stubborn right now, to be honest. I felt you didn't act right. Kenzie says, okay, I'm going to add a name calling to the list of things you did to me. And I don't think you acted right either. Dom says, and you can't even say you could change or that you agree whatsoever. Kenzie says, you're not allowed to tell me I'm welcome here whenever and I'm pretty much live there, then proceed to kick me out. Were you planning on changing? She says. Were you planning on changing in 1 second? Did you change? Okay, good. Imagine now if we could all change that fast, huh? You guys. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's her parents' responsibility, ho. That's what Elijah said. You have to be able to read. True. She says, "Were you planning on changing?" He says, "I didn't. You're right." She says, "I didn't think so." He says, "But you know what I said right before I didn't? Just go home for a little." She says, "No, I meant that changing in like their personalities." He says, "I told you to go home." She says, "No, you said you're kicking me out. And then you took all of my things outside and then broke up with me." Dom says, "I broke up with you way later." Kenzie said, "So if this isn't getting worked out tonight, I'm just done giving effort and done trying." Dom says, "And I said I was kicking you out way later than that too. That was way later." Kenzie says, "I need to be in a relationship with someone who's going to just give me as much love and caring energy as I give." So she wants someone who's giving no energy, no caring, or whatever she said, because she is a nasty person. That's not what she gives. When has she ever given caring energy to Dom? She's a covert narcissist. Bye, Kenzie. I know. He says, "Kenzie, you were mean to me today." He says, "I was mean too." She said, "You were also mean to me." Dom says, what are you going to do to change that? That's what I want to know. And I can let you know what I can do in response. Kenzie says, "To change that, what are you going to do to change your whole attitude and the way you talk to me?" Dom says, "Kenzie, you said mean things to me and I felt unappreciated and mad. I want to know how you're going to change that. Can you change that?" She says, "You say mean things to me all the time. You never give me love. You never give empathy. You never make me feel cared or loved. You just let me feel alone all day and you make me feel ugly. Can you change any of that?" Dom says, "Kenzie, I can go down the list too." Kenzie said, "I'm sorry. I said mean things to you, but you were saying mean things to me. So I was in defense mode." Dom says, "I'm not going to. I want to know how we can make the situation different." Kenzie says, "Oh, you're not going to change any of that?" Dom says, "I want to know what you can do first, because I think once I know, then I can adjust." Kenzie says, "Remember, you're the one who started this whole problem in the first place. So if anyone needs to make changes first, it's you." Dom says, "We can make them at the same time." She says, "I'm done texting about this. Are we going to work it out? Yes or no?" Dom says, "But what's your plan?" Kenzie questions her message. He says, "Yeah, once I hear your plan, we can." She says, "I think I need to hear your plan first, since you're the one who started the whole problem in the first place." Dom says, "How did I start it? I thought you started it." She says, "No, I told you I was freaking out, and then you got mad for no reason. The whole reason you're mad is because I didn't buy the shorts when I literally forgot. I asked you if you were mad at me, and then you said, 'Yes, you are.'" Dom says, "I thought you said you were freaking out because of me, because of something I said. And yeah, you didn't offer to fix it at all or even let me fix it." Kenzie said, "I was freaking out because you were giving me anxiety. I was not mad, and you know that. You're right. I didn't offer to fix it because I don't effing know how. I do not know how this app works. I don't know if you can add items to your cart. I don't know how it works. And you know, this is my first time buying from there." Dom says, "You could have let me do it, or you could have tried. You didn't give any effort." She says, "Why would I have let you do it after you were already extremely mean to me and kicking me out? If you were just being nice about this, it would have worked smoothly and I would have let you do it. But I'm not going to do anything for somebody who's treating me like shit." Dom says, "Kenzie, I was not trying to kick you out then." She says, "Yes, you were." He says, "No, I wasn't. I wasn't till we were already fighting for a bit." Kenzie says, "You were already being mean to me and getting my parents involved. That's why I didn't do it for you." Dom said, "No, I wasn't. That was after I couldn't get you to leave." Kenzie said, "That is how I feel. So what's going to happen? Are you going to work this out or not?" Why is she making shit up? Hey, Kara, walk away. I know. Prison cooking. Yeah, you can make like tacos and shit. And like, you can make tamales. You can make jail tamales. You can make jail Laffy Taffy too. It's really quite gross. A covert narc is so dangerous. They will schmurder you. Schmurder you just like she did to Dom and Davion. She says, "That's how I feel. So what's going to happen? Are you going to work this out or not? Like, it's 9:30. What's going to happen? Am I going to be done or are we working it out?" Dom says, "Well, I didn't hear your plan." She says, "I didn't hear one from you either. I don't have a well thought out plan. I'm just going to react on what happens. I'm never purposely mean to you. I'm only mean to you when you're mean to me." I wonder if like the judge and the detectives reading this was like us, screaming. We're like, these are nothing but effing lies, dude. Lies. He says, "Well, my plan would probably be just to sit back and let the situation unfold a little more before acting with any emotion and just observe my emotions, let them pass, observe yours, then come back to it when level headed. That would be my plan. So think about your plan and let me know." Kenzie says, "Well, I like to fix the problems right when they happen." She's like, "I think we should put hands on each other and call the police." Because that's basically what she does. She says, "I don't like to wait. I want to fix them immediately. It is 9:30 at night. This needs to be figured out before 10 o'clock. Like, I'm seriously about to be so effing done. Clearly, you have no care in your soul to work this out." Dom says, "I do." She says, "And if you wanted this relationship to work, it would have worked out." Dom says, "No, we both need us to both come to a conclusion on how we can handle this differently. This can also be applied to other situations, or we're going to be back in the same situation we're in right now." Kenzie says, "You can try not getting mad so fast. So, am I coming to work this out or no?" She says at 9:30 p.m. He says, "Kenzie, I said what I can do. What can you do? If you read it, you'd see I said what I said and observe all the emotions from both of us before acting with any. Because, Kenzie, this comes unresolved. We'll be here again. That's not fair to either of us." She says, "I can give you more space, but you have to tell me you need space and not kick me out." Dom said, "Well, that's my part I'm going to work on. I acted with emotion. You did too, but I'm not going to do that. What else can you do? Like about the name calling or rude references, period." Kenzie said, "You call me names too, and you didn't say you were going to stop doing that. And I don't know what rude references you're talking about. How about like when you tell him he's gonna have sex with his friend? You know what I mean?" I know how much he enabled Kenzie. Everyone around her did. I didn't get it. He says they're breaking up and she says no, but then says that she's going to break up with him. Yeah, I don't know. They broke up. He broke up with her. He didn't really mean it, I guess. And now she's like, "Wah, wah, wah. You got to chase and do this." It's just a mess. It's a literal mess, Tia. I don't think Kenzie had any pairs of pants. No, just tracksuits and shorts and bathing suits. He does not call her names. She calls him. I know. He says, "I said I'm not going to act with my emotions till they was that goes for a lot of things. That changes, get out to give me space for a little." And I mention them. "Look, I'm done inching my way through this trying to get something out of you. You know what I want? I want you to say how you can change what you did was wrong, what was wrong, two things. And I already texted two things. So when you have it figured out, text me, then we can work this out." Kenzie said, "No, this isn't going to work like that. We're either going to work this out now or I'm done." She says, "I will stop calling you names when you stop calling me names. I will start doing housework when you actually make me feel loved. And I will do more than housework for you when I feel loved." Dude, cleaning your rooms and taking a shower is not housework. It's called clean hygiene. Thank you very much. She says, "WTF? I would start effing answering right now because if this isn't resolved before tonight, then I'm seriously done giving any effort and I'm done. I would answer right now or I'm done." He says, "My phone was like dead." He says, "Yeah, I told you how you can handle the situation differently and you didn't do that at all." Kenzie said, I told you I would give you more space, and that's the only thing I did wrong. You just have to ask nicely when you need space. She says, I'm seriously fed up right now. What is going on? Do not effing reach out to me for nothing. She says, I'm waiting. He says, Kenzie, give me space when needed, no matter what. And it was way more than that. She says, you're going to have to ask nicely and not threaten me and throw my stuff outside. Dom says, that was after the fact. You were rude. Kenzie said, so are you. And you started this whole entire fight by getting mad at me for something I made a mistake on. Like, you started this whole entire arguing. Dom says, you were rude. That's what I was mad about. Kenzie said, I wasn't rude. I just told you I was freaking out. And then you told me you were mad. Like, I'm allowed to say I'm freaking out. So am I coming over to talk in person or are we done? Dom says, you're showing you can work it out. You can't work it out. Kenzie says, there's nothing I can show you over the phone. Dom says, we can type a couple sentences about what we're going to do different. That's really all you have to do. Not tell me I'm wrong, say something I did wrong, and blame me. She said, like I said 1,000,000 times, you can't hear tone and love in text. I feel bad for Dom. Like, he was literally helping her grow up. You know what I mean? And she just never could. I'm so grateful I don't know anyone like her because I'd be in jail, says Nancy. Well, Nancy, don't do that. I don't want to have to come bail you out. She's probably part of the, yeah, mental illness. Boy's mom says, as a forensic psychologist, Kenzie needs a serious mental health treatment. And I really don't think she's getting that. Hey, babes. Hi, G. Sarah. Good to see you, love. I really don't think she's getting that help in prison. I don't think having sex with females is mental health. Patty says there's nothing she can really show him in person either. Facts. She said, like I said 1,000,000 times, you can't hear tone and love in text. Dom says, say what you're going to do differently, like I did. He said, this isn't blaming me, question mark. She said, when did I say I wasn't blaming you? I told you, you're the reason we started arguing. You got mad at me. Dom says, like, why am I chipping at ice? Why can't you just do that? How long have I been asking you for two simple answers? And all I can get is half of one. Kenzie says, what the F do you want me to say? Clearly, you're not trying to work this out. I'm about to just go to bed and be done. If you wanted this to work out, we could have worked it out when you texted me. Why do you text me to work it out later if we're not going to work it out? Dom says, give me a simple, what are you going to do differently and how you're going to do differently. First two things you did wrong. Kenzie says, the only thing I did wrong was not give you space and call you names, but you called me names too. It's like Natalie Shirilla didn't teach her like two wrongs don't make a right, you psychopath. I want to know why she wants back in his house so badly. She wanted the rugs. I think after the crash, when she was like harassing Miss Russo, I think she was trying to get back in the house to get her shit, her name, brand, designer stuff, and then to get all the rugs that they had there. Oh yeah, Mary Beth, I can post that for you. Thank you, love. So basically that's what I think happened. I wish Dom would have kept a journal where he could break it all down and show her what a piece of crap she was. I know. It's so sad. Yeah, I'll share it in a sec. She says, okay, let's go back to the text. Sorry, I lost my place. Rugs, money, and hidden cash. Yeah, I know. She's sick. Okay, let's see. He says, you said rude things, refused to fix anything, and you didn't give me space. Dom says, so now what? You're going to do differently and you're going to do it for these three things? Kenzie said, so I just have to fix all the problems and you get to keep treating me like shit? How is this fair? Dude, she does not comprehend. Like, what does she not understand about this? She says, I refuse to fix the order because I didn't know how. She doesn't know how to type. She says, if you were, I hope she learns that while she's in prison. Or spelling, I mean. Kenzie says, if you were just nice to me, I would have let you fix it. I told you I would give you space. So I already fixed one of the things. I don't know why you keep effing repeating the same thing over and over. Maybe if you didn't dictate who I was friends with, you would have a lot of space because I would be with my friends and not be uncomfortable being with them because of what you think about them. Do you guys remember the last live with the whole Grace and the feets and the feet sex? Melly, what is feet sex? Can you show us what that is? I don't know what it is. No, I won't show you. Um, she's a snake. I know, my sarcasm. She says, you also said rude things. There's nothing I can do to fix that now. She says, it's 10 o'clock. He says, Kenzie, I'm fixing the problems. I'm coaching us through this. We both have to know what we have to do differently sometimes. You're going to act out. I'm going to act out. But if we both know what to do in the situation, we will be always be under control and we'll never get to the point we don't want it to. Kenzie says, am I coming over to talk or no? Are we done? Oh, I'm reminiscing. She says, that's why you need to work on your communication skills. I tried to communicate and fix the problem immediately, but you just get mad and ruin it. Am I coming over to talk or are we done? Dom says, Kenzie, all you have done is blame me. You haven't admitted you're wrong at all without saying it because of something I did. I don't think you can come over and work this out because you haven't even told me how you can do what happened earlier differently. Kenzie says, I already told you I made a mistake by buying it 1 million times. Clearly, you just texted me that you wanted to work it out later, so I can't stop ignoring you. Dom says, no, it wasn't that. It was everything after that. Kenzie said, the only thing that's my fault is not giving you space and buying it without the shorts. Kenzie said, Dom says, Kenzie, I'm trying to work it out. I just want to make sure it's worth even trying to work it out. Kenzie says, but you tried to kick me out of my home. No, your home is, why am I talking like Dory from Nemo? Like your home is with Natalie Shirilla. That's where your home is. She says, but you tried to kick me out of my home. I mean, I've been effing texting you for over a goddamn hour. So what the F do you think? Look, I'm seriously about to be done. So am I coming over to work this out or are we done? She says, you're making this not worth it right now. I've been ready to come work this out for about an hour. He says, all you can do is blame with me. I don't think I can have you over. She says, clearly you can't read then if that's what you think. And clearly you didn't want this relationship to work in the first place. She says, I'm going to give you one more chance to let me come over and work this out and we can talk in person or I'm done and just block me. Dom says, okay, Kenzie, I'm going to say this for the last time. What are you going to do differently and how are you going to do it differently? Answer that. Don't blame me or something or give me a shitty answer or just what you're going to do, not how you're going to do it. And I'll let you come over and we can work this out. But not if, but if not, I know that when you come over, we're not going to get anywhere. There's a little bit of typos there. She says, for the millionth time, I'm going to give you space when needed. I don't know what I can do to make you feel more appreciated, but I literally say thank you for everything you do. Dom says, take as much time as you need. Kenzie said, no, because I'm going to bed if this isn't resolved. Like it's literally just negative energy being drained from my soul. Dude, how do you think hey Nevermore, it's July 2nd still. They're still arguing. Um I cannot with this beat. I know. That's how they roll with the holding back charges. They all wait until she's going to paroled, then drop her new charges, especially when they see she really doesn't care that she killed two people. It's amazing how she can cause us all this stress from just listening to her text. I know. Can you imagine that? Like, have you guys been in a relationship like this? Now I'm curious and I want to know all your secrets, but save them for the second channel because we're going to be doing confessions over there. Mhm. Yeah, get ready for it. I know. It's a lot of this. She's saying that Dom is negative energy. Like she's literally the pit of negative energy. She says, me saying that I want to work this out after all that happened should be enough for you. Dom says, the soul's energy is unlimited. You're closing your soul. Open up, he says. Oh, I like that. Don't close your soul. Open up. Oh, thank you, Mary Beth. You're so sweet. Mary Beth says she's bought me a coffee so that I can wake up and stream tomorrow. You're so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, okay, let's see. She says, well, I didn't even check that. Sorry, Mary Beth. Oh, I did. You're so sweet. I love you, Mary Beth. Thank you for the coffee. It's very kind of you. She says, okay, so am I coming or are we broken up for good? Because this is literally wasting my time and energy. I don't like to text because I can't hear your tone. It is now 11 or 10:11 p.m. He says, well, I don't think tonight would work. Would you want to just work it out tomorrow? She says, no, I do not. Tomorrow, I'm going to be mad that you wasted my whole entire night and lied to me. You wouldn't have texted me, talk it out later. You just texted me that so I would answer you. Good job playing mind games. Do you find it funny to just have me do this or something? He says, what? See, I knew I shouldn't have let you come back. You got issues. She says, no, you have issues. You lied to me. Dom says, I'm playing mind games, trying to work this out. What the F? She says, if you were trying to work this out, you would have let me come talk in person after I told you 1 million times that I don't like to work things out over the phone. Quote unquote, you have issues. That isn't rude, she says. Like, why are you being such a hypocrite right now? Why would you tell me work it out later if you were just going to do this? Dom says, not as rude as saying I'm playing mind games when I'm trying to work shit out. Kenzie says, I don't feel like you're trying to work this out. It feels like you're just trying to get me to answer you right now because if you wanted to work this out, you would have me over so we can talk in person. Dom says, I want you to be ready to talk in person. She says, you don't decide if I'm ready or not. Who do you think you are? That's rude. Hey, Carlina Kit Kat. Show him some respect, you little demon. I know. Oh, thank you, Tisha Leslie, for becoming a new member. Welcome to Mellyverse. I appreciate you. Wasted. What exactly did he keep you from, Kenzie? Work? Nope. School? Nope. Nope. Money? I know. Everyone has issues, but her. Help me make sense. I can't. Hey, Cuffy, good to see you, love. We're about to go into the 3rd, July 3rd. So like 28 days. I was doing sorry, that's embarrassing. I was doing basic math in my head. It's been a long week. Like 28 days, 29 days prior to the crash. She says, who do you think you are? He says, I don't think it's going to get good right now. That's why I don't let you come. He says, I mean, I'm letting you into my home. So yeah, I do decide. Kenzie said, it's my home too. I sleep there every night. You do not decide if I'm ready or not. Am I going to come over and talk or are we done? I don't know why I have to keep repeating myself. Dom says, well, you can't give me a couple sentences about what you can do differently. You just say you're going to give me space. That's it. Kenzie says, what more do you want? She says, do you not want me to ask you to buy me anything? I only call you names when you call me names first. Dom says, you're not getting it. Look, you call me names. I'm going to try to react differently. It's going to go many different ways. It doesn't matter who did what first. We're both responsible. She said, I don't call you names. Dude, what about you guys? How many times did she call him a pig? How many times did she call him a little bee? Who's that? Dom should be saying to her, what the F did she think she was? I'm now a goddess. Yeah, we are, cuff you. Getting really close. I was so proud of Dom for Evie. She says, I was so proud of Dom for standing up to her. She realized she was slipping and was going to lose him. Yes, cuff you. Sorry, I was joking. Tisha says, you're the only person I have a membership with. Yay! That makes me happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. She called him too many times, too many names, and referred to herself like she was something wonderful. The goddess. Remember? Remember, she was like, I'm the goddess. It's not your home, Mackenzie the killer. I know. She says, I don't call you names. She says, I don't just call you names for no reason. So the situation wouldn't happen in the first place because you always call me names first. Dom says, you're not getting it. I'm just going to bed. She says, I guess we're done. She says, I guess you just wasted 2 hours of my life fake working this out. He says, I was trying my best, but you don't want to get it. She says, I don't know why you're not getting this. Maybe if we talk in person, it will be better. Why do I keep repeating myself? If you want this relationship to work, you will work it out tonight. She emphasizes her own message. Now it is 10:27 p.m. She says, if you could answer the phone fast, you could answer my text. Then she sends a screenshot of a text. Then she says, you effed up at 11:35. Dom says, what? I was talking for so long. Why weren't you answering? Kenzie says, I will be over as soon as I wake up. Dom says, call back. Kenzie says, I will be coming in the house. There's nothing to talk about. I already know you don't give an F about how I feel or what I say. Go get your sleep. You've been complaining about it for 2 hours. Dom says, don't come wake me up. You can, but don't come wake me up. Kenzie says, I'm coming as soon as I wake up. Then leave the door unlocked or only bottom locked. Then I won't have to wake you up. Dom said, no, Kenzie, just text me before you come. She says, no, I'm coming right when I wake up. He says, I should be up anyways. Just text me. She says, here at 9:43 a.m. He says, I'm taking a shit. She says, I'm here. He says, I'll come let you in soon. She says, when? She says, do you know who's pathetic? The little bitch you call yourself who can't even face his own problems. You're so effing immature. It's actually embarrassing. You think calling names are the way to solve any sort of problems and you just hide behind a phone and a door? Not all of us spend the whole entire time reading books and just using their manipulation tactics to get their way. Now you're going to give me my stuff and I'm going to effing leave because you're an effing piece of shit and you never loved and cared about me because somebody who loved and cared about me would never treat me this way. You vibrate so low that your words don't even hurt me anymore. I could just tell your words are coming from your soul of sadness. I thought I could fix you, but I guess you're always just going to be the same that you will always be. If you don't open the door, I'm going to call the police to retrieve my items, she says at 11:22 a.m. One thing between them is you never have to worry that it's not going to escalate because it always does. Damn. Yeah, I know. New level. I know. She says, your timer starts now. Dom says, I couldn't keep talking to a wall. I called your mom. Maybe she can explain what I was trying to convey to you. Because he says, we're either going to work this out, and if you're not capable of that, then bring my purse and keys out. Dom says, if we're not working this out, I need my money before getting your shit back. Kenzie said, that's up to you to work this out. I've been trying all day, and then you can't just call me names. You're going to bring my stuff out now, or you're going to let me in, and we're going to work this out. She says, so you're choosing to not work this out? Dom says, if you want to work it out, you can wait till later. She says, no. She says, it's a holiday tomorrow. It's now or we're done because it's going to be 4th of July. He says, okay, then I gave you over 5 hours. You took it for granted. Goodbye. She says, you argued with me all about 5 hours, so you did not try to work it out at all. He says, okay. She says, be mature. If I leave, you're just going to say I'm running away. Dom says, look, I told you what I wanted. I haven't got it from you. If you want to leave and break up with me, so be it. Either way, I need space. I don't want to talk. I tried for so long and I'm done trying. Kenzie says, you're not going to let me come work it out if I leave. I want to work this out now. I know we can work this out. You just need to calm down. We are saying the exact same thing. Dom says, okay, Kenzie, so what do I want from you? She says, you want to plan on how I'm going to react differently next time or to prevent it? Dom says, okay, what and how are you going to do it differently? She says, don't escalate. He says, you're giving me the bare minimum. Kenzie said, instead of reacting, we both need to pause and listen. Dom says, I'm putting in work for 5 hours trying to get a point across. Kenzie, what situations, what happened, will you change? It's that simple. She says, next time I make a mistake, I'm going to just let you fix it. She sends 5 question marks. He says, Kenzie, you fix your own mistakes. She says, I didn't know how to fix that, so you would have to help me. She's pathetic. Dom says, having me do the phone thing when you can't would be still fixing your own mistake from the help of me. But you can't go to me first. Kenzie said, next time I order something, I'll just have you buy it at all so I can't mess it up. Dom says, if you start a problem or you make a mistake, you have to fix it. Think about the dinner analogy. I F up dinner and I don't just not fix it. It's just because you got mad. Kenzie says, the thing is, I wouldn't get mad. Dom says, yes, both should control anger. But if one fails, Kenzie said, I've not been angry all day. Dom said, that doesn't give the other a reason to fail. Kenzie says, even when you called me dumb and pathetic, I didn't raise my voice or call names back. There is an instant example of me changing to work this out. Dom says, honestly, F it. I told you 3 things. What and how. And I have only gotten half answers. She says, I told you that I will show you in person. Now you are not hearing me. I've answered. You're choosing not to listen to me. Dom says, if you can't come to me with a decent thought out on what you could do differently, and most importantly, how, then I'm done answering you. He emphasizes that message. He says, the 3 things I told you. And to be honest, I think we should take space for a day at least. She says, what is communication? We both need to do more listening, not reacting. I know you're talking about just me, but we are both in a relationship and this needs to be fixed together. How? I'm not going to react. Actions speak louder than words. I will listen when you need me to and try my best so this doesn't happen. And calling me names hurts me, but I know you don't care. Dom says, Kenzie, in the situations when I did this, I shouldn't have done this, etc., etc. This is how I'm going to do it. Like, I'm giving you the answers to the test. Just fill in the blanks. Kenzie said, give me a specific situation. Dom said, the situations that I had a problem with, there was 3 of them. And I repeated what they were. Kenzie says, give me one. Dom says, very many times. Kenzie says, I know. I'm asking to give me a specific one. Dom says, all 3 of them. That happened yesterday. What will you do for each situation? Kenzie says, why do you keep rubbing my nose in this? I do not appreciate how you're talking to me. I already answered how I'm going to handle all the situations. Thank you, Cantarella. I appreciate you, love. You're so kind. Thank you. Oh my God, I've been missing that. Cantarella sent me a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And then Monica gifted 5 Melly memberships. Ooh, I missed it because I have to go back. Oh, thank you for gifting. I'm crying me. Mary Beth says, I really like this channel. Oh, we love you here, Mary Beth. Hope Owens, Mama AMG and Carrie all got memberships. Thank you, Cantarella and Monica. I appreciate you too. Revolving door. Thank you. Revolving door. Hi, Valerie. I need to use that at some point in my life lately. She says, I'm going to handle all the situations. I feel unheard. You keep making me repeat myself. Dom says, just answer it. I've only gotten pieces. I'm making you give me a good one too, because this took so long. Kenzie says, what I said was a good one. I'm telling you, I won't react and I will listen when you feel unheard. Dom says, that was vague and not situation specific at all. Kenzie said, I said I will ask for help. And then you said, you're not going to help me fix the mistake. Do you want to fix this or are you going to keep rubbing my nose in this? Rubbing my nose? Is that really how you say that term? Oh, thank you, Mary Beth. Oh, yes. I will tell you guys all about it too. Secret time. I will. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you, Monica. So keep rubbing my nose in this. I thought it was like keep rubbing your nose in this. I don't know. She says, do you want to fix this or are you going to keep rubbing my nose in this? He says, you're not fixing it. Same 3 questions from 16 hours ago. Holy balls. They have been arguing for 16 hours. He says, and you're still dancing around them. She says, the only way we will know if we are listening is the next time something happens. If you wanted me to work this out, you would let me in to talk. I want to be here so I can eat. I don't eat when I'm home. I've literally been up all night and morning trying to fix this, and you do not care at all. You feel unheard. Think about me. I've told you I can show you that how you feel matters, but you need to do the same for me. Dom says, look, go home and we'll talk about it later. She says, I'm just not going to eat. She's so manipulative. He says, this just isn't working right now. Just talk to me later. Kenzie says, I don't trust that you will talk to me later. Tomorrow is the 4th. I want to do stuff together tomorrow. Dom says, just think about the questions I want you to answer. Come back and make sure they are really good. He says, I do too. Dom says, so think about this. Kenzie said, Dom, I have answered many times. No matter what I say, it's not going to be good enough for you. I've told you how I will fix this in the future. And if that's not enough, nothing will be. She says, what time is later? Are we talking? He says, when you can answer my 3 questions thoroughly. The more you dance around it or blame me. She said, it's not happening. Dom says, the more I'm going to want. She says, I already have. Dom says, no, I got half an answer at a time and coached you through it. I need you to actually think about this. Kenzie says, if we can just talk about this civilized, we can do so much more. We both care and we both want this to work out, so I'm not sure why you're trying to do this. Dom says, you want this to work out? Answer my questions. It's been 16 hours since I asked you. Kenzie says, bring out my avocado oil. Dom says, and I haven't gotten one good answer. She says, so you don't want to work it out? Dom says, if I didn't, I would have just left and ended it yesterday. Kenzie says, I'm leaving. Good to know how you feel. Dom says, okay, Kenzie, if you want to work this out, answer my questions. If not, go about your life, I guess. Kenzie said, you just said you don't want that to work out. Dom said, no, I didn't. Kenzie says, you said you don't want it to work out. Yeah, I said we both do. And you said you want it to work out. Dom says, if you want it to work out, answer my questions. If you don't, I guess you don't want to. Kenzie said, I don't think so. Dom says, what are you not getting? Is typing in caps helping? Kenzie says, what you're doing is wrong. You're leaving it up to me, not telling me specific things. I can fix this if you give me specific things. Dom says, no, it's not, Kenzie. You need to show me you have the skills to be around me. Kenzie says, if you do that, I can address them properly. I know, you said it a million times. She says, why is my avocado oil bottle not outside yet? Dom says, you don't have the skills to reflect, then don't be with me or learn them ASAP. Kenzie says, I am trying. That's why I'm not walking away and why I'm asking you to tell me one last time so I can answer properly. And if you can't do that, that means you don't want this to work. She says, please tell me why they are one last time so I can answer properly. She says, I would hope I matter enough for you to answer. Dom said, no, your problem now. It's been 17 hours. I can't even count how many times I told you. You feel unheard. I feel unheard. 3 questions. 3. Only 3. 3. 3. And then he says, leave my car door open or do one more thing. And I'm telling your mom, you let dudes F your feet. We're still on the 3rd. Yeah, we're still on the 3rd. We're on the 3rd and it's 12:25 p.m. So Natalie would be really just mad and disgusted if she knew if she knew about the feet sex. If only he had walked away. Oh, thank you, Cuffy. I just saw that. I love that you actually. Oh, thank you. She says, one of the reasons I joined and love it here, and your sense of humor is fabulous. Thank you, Cuffy. We're happy to have you here. Thank you, thank you. He does not want to fix it. No. She's an exhausting gaslighter. Yes. He says, leave my car door open or do one more thing. I'm telling your mom you let dudes F your feet. She says, threaten me again and you know exactly what I'm going to do. Dom says, cool. So we have an agreement. She says, no, we don't. The threatening and blackmailing will stop if you want this to work. Okay. Yes, it has, Tippy. She says she wants it to work, but then she says, I'm going to call the police to retrieve my stuff. Clearly you don't want it to work. Nasty feet effort. Dude, that's hecka funny. Okay, let me get a drink. I don't know. Is that a thing? Is that call the police? He says, no, we do not. She says the threatening and blackmailing will stop if you want this to work. When are we going to talk? Or are we not? He says, we can talk. He says, I expect too much of you. You're a lot younger than me. Oh my gosh. Now he realizes it. Dude, like 3 years too late, buddy. Like this sucks. Wow. She says, I have high expectations for you to situation. That's some things we're going to have to learn to deal with from each other our whole life. She says, if you care enough, you will navigate through those things and it will be fixed. Do you actually want to work this out? Earlier, you told me you were not interested in working this out, and I don't want to go through all of this just for nothing. She says, I need to know where your heart is. He says, I want to be with you if it'll work. If it's better for both of us to separate, then I'm okay with that too. But yeah, we can definitely work something out. She says the only way it's going to work out is if we work through our problems as they're happening. And it's also not okay to be threatening any of my family members. That is probably the worst thing that happened during this all. Rolling my eyes because she does that every single day almost. Dom says, well, I got mad. I thought you were leaving my car open to make me mad. Kenzie says, I apologized for that already and said it was an accident. Even if it was on purpose, leaving the car door open shouldn't make you mad to the point where you try to sue my family. Dom says, I'm glad I came out a little later. If some bees or some got in my car, they F it up. I was just mad. Kenzie says, you need to follow your own advice and hit the brakes when you feel that coming because what you did was not okay. That is not supposed to be mean, by the way. Dom says, hey, it's not as bad as threatening to snitch on me. That's one of the lowest things you can do. Kenzie said, I will stop doing that. Wow. I wonder how many people she's scamming in prison. Yeah, she's like 543-22222. Oh wait, 543. Yes. Maybe he met someone else nicer. I'm telling you guys. What if he was talking to one of her friends or like someone, and maybe I said that morning, maybe she saw the text or something. Mackenzie was spoiled. She didn't, and she realized what's wrong. I know. Patty's like, I don't believe anything she says. Me either, Patty. She's scamming all of them. She's scamming everyone. There it is. She says, I will stop doing that. She says, I will try to stop doing that. She says, sometimes that's the only thing I can say to make you hear what I'm saying. Dom says, why can't you just not do that? She says, it's going to take time to stop. If I'm heard, I won't have to go there, but I'm going to try to stop regardless. She says, I think we just need to talk in person. She says, we can go get ice cream at the shake shop and watch Stranger Things after we talk. I never understood how they could fight this much and then just go back to be like nothing happened. Yeah, they were together for like 3-4 years. It makes you wonder if the dude she got, ew. Kenzie, you are where you belong. I just saw that in the chat. She had already planned to end him. I actually believe that. He says, I probably won't want to eat ice cream. You def not got to say something out of pocket like the cops shit. Kenzie said, and you can't threaten my mom. That's also extremely out of pocket. She does a lot for you. Dom says, well, the car thing ticked me off, and I really didn't even think of it being a threat at the time. Kenzie said, it wasn't that hurt my mom's feelings, too. You didn't just hurt me. You hurt my mom. Oh, Natalie Shirilla. Natalie Shirilla's hurt. But she doesn't sound her in those jail calls where she's mocking the dead victims and the family. I mean, does Natalie Shirilla sound hurt then? Oh, Melly, why are you so petty sometimes? I don't know. I don't know. Have she ever really apologized for anything? No, girl. Never, really. Not genuinely. You know what I mean? Natalie's leather. She's okay. She says, I don't know what that means, but okay. Kenzie says, you hurt my mom's feelings. So are we going to try to talk in person again? Dom says, I'm sorry that I threatened your mom. He says, and I'm sorry I said a lot of those things when you were here earlier. Kenzie said, I'm sorry you feel unheard. I will try to make you feel more heard. She says, I'm also sorry I didn't leave when you told me to. But when you lock me out, that hurts my feelings because I thought I was always welcome. Okay, I'm dying to play. Hey Kayla, I'm dying to play that we're going to play that call. You know, the call outside. The call outside where she's like, I'm going to key your car. She don't care about her mom. She even said the water sucks over there. She's like, I don't eat there. The food sucks. My mom's a bee. I hope so. He needed someone to care about him for real. I know. She said, I thought I was always welcome. Dom says, I need you to be able to work with me or trust what I know. When I want you to do things and talk to me about it, it's not because I'm being a dick and trying to give you a hard time. It's because I want it to be easier for the both of us. Kenzie says, well, I feel like you rub it in my face, all of this, and just drag the problem when I have tried so hard to fix it. I always would rather communicate and work the problem out and then argue with you. I would always rather communicate and work the problem out and then argue with you. Is that how it works? Like, have I just been living my life wrong? I thought I was always welcome. Girl, you're 17. She needed a diaper. She didn't have a diaper on. She says, yeah, I guess that's how it works. You communicate, you work the problem out, and then you argue. So you basically instigate a fight. Dom says, I don't rub it in your face. I just feel like you don't understand me. And when I say do these three things and you don't make me think you don't listen to anything I said. Kenzie says, I understand to the best that I can. That's just not how I handle my problems. And you have to trust me like I trusted you. Do you want me to come over and we can watch Stranger Things? Question mark, question mark. He says, well, that's why I tried to ask you first, but that didn't work. She says, you tried to ask me first what? Do you want me to come over and we can talk more? Question mark. He says, what you think we could do differently? She says, instead of starting an argument, we can both listen to while we both feel hurt or unheard. Dom says, I was just responding to this. I don't know if I want to talk right now. Kenzie says, we don't even need to talk. We can just watch Stranger Things. She says, and it's already getting kind of late. It's still the 3rd and it's still 8 p.m. She says, and the 4th of July is tomorrow. He says, okay, I'm next door. After I go back, we can do that. She says, when? He says, I don't know when, maybe 8:30ish. She says, can I come now? Question mark. He says, yeah, you can come now. She said, okay, bet. She says, or just like me and I can go home. Oh, she did a typo. Or just lock me out and I can go home. She says, I'm going to leave. The door doesn't open within 5 minutes. And then it's the 4th of July and she's sending a bunch of TikToks. Finally, we're into the 4th of July. Let me see. I don't know how deep it goes into the month because we're only like 500 pages away. So I don't know how much there is up to the crash. I haven't peeked forward. She says, where you at? He says, went next door. Do you want to come over? She said, who's there? And then she's sending 4th of July TikToks. She says, and then it jumps to the 6th. Okay, so 4th of July happened. On the 5th, she's sending TikToks. And then on the 6th, she says, I have you on video hitting my car window. Oh, wow. They must have fought on 4th of July. She treats prison just like high school. Dude, she has to. I mean, she's there for the rest of her life. Why does she act like she's 12 years old? I don't know. She says, I have a video of you hitting my car window. By the time I'm back at your house, you better have thought about what you did wrong because there's no way to have a relationship. And clearly, you have not followed any of your words on seeing how you're going to prevent us from arguing. Dom says, you're instigating. He says, don't come back for a while. She says, no, I'm allowed to ask you why you're ignoring me and treating me a certain way. That is not instigating. You seriously need to work on your communication skills. It's actually so sad. I don't know what happened to you. He says, locking my shit in your car, then backing out in front of me while looking at me is instigating. Kenzie says, actually, never mind. You haven't smoked any weed yet today, so that's probably why you're being so mean. I don't like any of your shit in the car. I don't lock any of your shit in the car. I was trying to give it to you. And you're telling me you hitting my window, trying to break it isn't instigating? Do I need to send you the video? He says, no, you wouldn't open it. Send it. I don't give an F. And that's at 12:41 p.m. And then she says, "Are you just hungry or something? Like, I'm actually confused. Like, you always start these arguments and I just ask you why you're being mean and then you turn it into a big argument." She says, "Answer. And actually need to talk to you when I'm over there now." He says, "What?" He says, "Over where?" She says, "I'm coming over now. I'm on the way. I just had to talk to my mom for a sec." She says, "Like, I'm being dead ass. Like, I'm not just gonna start an argument, and I hope you're not either. Now I'm concerned." Dom says, "I'm not gonna start an argument either. I'm def not trying to argue right now. Joe just came over, grabbed his keyboard real quick, and we smoked a joint. So I definitely trying to kill my high." Kenzie says, "Please don't be mad at me. Please." Dom says, "What?" Kenzie says, "I don't want to tell you." Uh-oh. She's saying, "I don't want to tell you" at 6:09 p.m. Melly, I don't think she thinks there's a forever. She thinks she will still get out in 15. That's true. Because her mom treated her like when she's 12. Yeah. Hey, Lakeside Lawyer. You missed the notification. Oh, I'm sorry. Starting from the beginning. Okay. I want to hear what Mallory has to say. Mallory's probably so pissed off right now. Now she will send him something she wants. Let's see what she says. I feel like she did something she wasn't supposed to do. She says, "I don't want to tell you." Well, duh. She says, "You're going to be mad." Uh-oh. Dom says, "Tell me now." Oh, it's not a big deal. She says, "I broke glass." Dom says, "I figured." Kenzie says, "It was an accident." He said, "What did you break?" She said, "Please don't be mad. Please." He said, "Is it the table?" She says, "No." "The light thing." "I'm sorry." He says, "Oh, the cap?" She said, "Yes." He said, "How did you break it?" She says, "I was moving a pillow and I didn't know that was holding the glass up. Then it fell. I'm cleaning it up all right now." Dom says, "What you doing to clean it up?" She says, "Picking it up with my fingers and putting it in a pile so I can take it out." I don't know what she's talking about. So that was on the 6th at 6:11 p.m. and then it jumps to the 7th. She says, "Bro, you're gonna die." He says, "What?" He says, "I'm about to shower, so let me know ASAP." She says, "Paige, bro. She's fake. I'll send a box memo." Oh, she meant a voice memo. He said, "Paige who?" He said, "Send." She sends an audio. Oh, I wish we could hear that. Dom said, "Fat Paige snitched on you to Sam?" Kenzie said, "Yes." Dom says, "Just don't bring up anything you're not supposed to." Kenzie said, "What do you mean?" Dom said, "Who are you with?" Kenzie said, "Nina and Rosie." Dom says, "I'll just talk to you later." Kenzie says, "Can I use my card?" 187 left. "That's all yours." "No, or can I?" "Or don't say it back." "What the F?" He says, "I'm sorry." She says, "Can I get a Q?" She says, "Answer." $50? "You gave her a Q for $50 last time." Dom says, "My bad. Was in a bad mood for a sec." She says, "Dinner?" At 7:21 p.m. He says, "What?" Kenzie says, "What dinner?" He says, "I don't know for real. I didn't even think about it." She says, "Can we come to your house?" Dom says, "What do you want?" She said, "Rosie never hit a Puffco." Ah. So Rosie was over there hitting Dom's Puffco, but Rosie don't want to come on Mellyverse. She's like, "I don't want to have to speak on this." Thank you, Nikki, for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Welcome to Mellyverse. I appreciate you very much. She thinks he'll send pics of what she wants. I wonder if you can mature and think like an adult. Kenzie, no. Who's Paige? I don't know. Yeah, I have seen Rosie. Doesn't she live there? Who? Rosie? At Dom's? No. She says, "Rosie never hit a Puffco." You mean Kenzie lives there. She says, "Also, I don't know. I need pasta." He says, "Yeah, you can." She says, "Okay." She said, "Want to make pasta?" She says, "Do we have?" He says, "No, we don't." She said, "What pasta?" Dom says, "I don't know. We really don't have anything. We probably can't. We probably gonna have to eat out tonight." Kenzie said, where? Dom says, I don't know. Kenzie says, we should just make something. Dom says, oh, we're going to have to grab something from the store fast. Kenzie says, go to Giant Eagle. She says, we're going through pics right now. Dom says, I have chicken here. That's all I have to make. Kenzie says, then we're coming. She says, I don't know if I want chicken. We have broccoli and white rice. We can do hibachi. He says, yeah, I'll just make that because I don't want to go to the store. She says, okay, bet. She says, I don't want soy, low key. I want it really healthy. Wild rice. He says, you do the rice. She said, I know. On my way. Okay, and that was at 8 o'clock p.m. on the 7th, and then jumps to the 8th. She says, WTF, it's literally 8:30 a.m. Why is the grass being cut? You said you told him not to come this early. Dom says, on the phone with Will. She says, K. And then she's sending him Jeffrey Campbell shoes, which are expensive. She says, I'm mad at you. Later in the day at 4:30 p.m. She says, I'm serious AF. Dom says, why? She said, I guess we'll just talk when you're home. He says, I just got home. She says, okay, I'll be there in a couple of seconds. She says, let me know when you're at Heinen's getting the chicken. He says, you can go to Heinen's. She says, let me know when you're at Heinen's getting the chicken. He says, why? She says, so I know you're going, or when you're about to be home with the chicken. It's the least you can do after trying to blackmail my mom. Oh, wait, after trying to blackmail me to my mom. What? I thought she was gonna get over it. I bet Rosie was hitting more than the puff coat. Oh, Patty with the diss. No comment. She says, it's the least you can do after trying to blackmail me to my mom. Dom said, I wasn't trying to do anything. You bring up the story to her trying to make me look bad, but you ain't telling the whole story. Kenzie said, the relationship will end if this continues. And today is the last day you will speak about my business regarding the situation. She's talking about the feet sex. She says, so you're getting the chicken, right? He says, why aren't you getting the chicken? She says, okay, I'll just eat all the rice. He says, okay, I guess. She says, don't even try to be cool with me when you're back. He says, fine. He says, I got one last play. Then you want to go to Heinen's and get candy and stuff and have a movie night at 6:51 p.m. He says, healthy candy, obviously. Like, what is healthy candy? Can someone tell me what doesn't give you cavities and doesn't have GMOs? Oh, was Rosie the girl with the long dark hair? Yeah, she like a fitness girly now. Hey Marvin, you're late. That was for Mr. Bean. Anton says, God, if you're listening, help. She did have a friend a little overweight, but I don't think it was Rosie. This is the longest fight in the history of fights. Yo, we thought we heard them all. She says, Dom says, healthy candy, obviously. And I could still grab chicken. She says, there's only like one scoop of rice left. She said, so that's up to you. She says, I guess we can still do the chicken. He says, we can, but more rice while we there. She says, I don't know why you didn't just told me that earlier. Tell you that earlier? Dom says, I'm not sure, to be honest. If you really want, we could just go get Lucas. She says, I don't feel so good, so I don't think I could eat that. And I'm not dressed nice. We could go tomorrow. And I think I'm going to go there for my birthday dinner. Dom says, I'd rather do carnival tomorrow. She says, well, I don't know if it's still going. Dom says, how did you know it was going in the first place? She says, we drove past. He says, orange or red? She said, I don't know. Get me juice. Some good juice. He says, that's what I'm doing. And then she sends emojis. He says, which one do you want? She says, stop. Okay, wait. He said, which one do you want at 7:37 p.m.? And then it jumps to 11:50 p.m. And she says, "Stop. You're being loud as F. It's annoying. And you woke me up. Literally shut the door if you're going to scream." Dom says, "My bad. They were showing me beats." Sorry, my phone just vibrated. She says, um, then she sends an attachment. He said, "What's this?" She said, "Garage sale." Now it's the 9th at 10:57 a.m. She says, "In Lakewood." He says, "It's going to be really rare to find anything nice over in Lakewood." She says, "I don't know. You never know." He says, "I would rather just go in nicer areas where we know we're going to get good shit." She said, "Well, it depends on the nice areas. They're just like baby clothes. We actually have to go see." Dom says, "I mean, for real though, do you want some shit out of someone's gross ass duplex?" He says, "Let me check where those streets are by." She says, "I don't care. If it's cute, I don't care. The hood is where you find cute tracksuits and Y2K." Dom says, "Have you before?" She says, "With Grace, I went all over, all Northeast Ohio." Dom says, "The one on Clifton isn't as bad of an area." He says, "The one by Edgewater is going to be super ghetto." She says, "I don't care." She said, "Grace lives over there." She said, "It's chill." Dom says, the ones around West 17th ain't going to be good either. I'd go to one by Clifton. Why buy things from a garage sale when we can order free things?" And Kenzie says, "Bye." Dom says, "Did I scare you?" She says, "Yes, LOL." Then she sends a picture of knives, stuff in the kitchen. She says, "I think I just seen an old Jag at a garage sale." She took a picture of the car. He says, "How much is the Trans AM?" She says, 22, 1979. He said, "Taxing?" He said, 2,200 or 22,000, LOL. "How many miles?" She said, 61K. He says, "I'll trade my Jag for it, LOL." She said, "What year is your Jag?" He says, 1990 Vanden Plas, 50K miles. She says, "They just got a Corvette, so they're not trying to trade." Dom says, "What kind?" Kenzie said, "I don't know, an old one." Dom says, "Let me see the interior of the Trans AM." Kenzie says, "I don't remember what they said. We already left." Dom says, "Oh, damn." Kenzie said, "The inside was all black. It was a nice view." Dom says, "I would have traded it. I would have traded it if a decent deal." She said, 14241 bays. They said they weren't trading because they just got a Corvette. I just said that. Dom says, "Cool." She says, "What do you mean?" She says, "I got the cute glasses." Dom says, "How much were they?" She says, $2. She says, "I'll pay for them." And then she sends a picture of shoes. She's sending pictures of stuff. She says, "WTF, answer," at 1:31 p.m. He said, "My bad. My phone was dead and I was hooping." He says, "What you wearing?" She says, "Gray and white." She says, "Air Maxes on my way." He says, "How is," okay, and that was on at 5:02 p.m. And then it jumps to the 10th. Oh my gosh. So like 21 days away. Hey, TS, good to see you, love. Dom was really like puking sick of her crap. I know. Little twat does not deserve him. Absolutely not. Rosie's one of the girls in the Halloween picture. Yeah, she's the one in the fitness girl now. What the hell? I know. Hey, TS. She says, "I think kept Rosie around because she was a bit overweight and Mr. Bean thinks she's cuter." Yeah, I could see Don thinking she's cute. Dustin says, "I'm new here, been listening for 5 minutes. Not sure what this is, but I'm fully engrossed." Good. Get engrossed, please. Um, these are Rut Row. Rut Row. Good to have you here, Dustin. Okay, jumps to the 10th. He says, "How is Barbizon, babe?" He said, "Also, today is 7:10. When you get back, we're taking hella dabs." She says, "What do you mean?" Dom says 710 upside down is oil. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Do you guys get it? 710 upside down spells oil. I guess we all learned something tonight. All the cheaters better act surprised at the end. Wait, who cheated? Not Patty calling the cheaters out. Oh, Patty. um he says 710 is upside down. 710 is upside down is oil. He says it's 420, but for dabs. She says, bruh, there's an auction next door. They have a real Picasso, 150K. Rich ass people. Something sold for 250K. Dom says, damn, WTF. He said, that's lit. She says, it's cool. He says, I want to get a lot of painting under like 15K that I know are going to go up. He says, I've been looking at painters. Kenzie said, it's insane. I have videos. They are selling rugs and diamonds and cool stuff. Dom says, do you want Chipotle? She says, I don't know. She says, maybe. He says, when are you going to be back? He says, me and Mika, what? I think that's a typo. Me and someone want me to get your meal. She says, I'm not eating cold food. Oh, Morgan. If Morgan is in your driveway, we will have problems, by the way. He says, no, she isn't. Oh, Morgan in his driveway. Why would Morgan be in his driveway? She says, I'll get Chipotle at 6, but not now. Dom says, okay, we're going to get city barbecue. She says, class is over at 5:30. She says, K. She said, that's not organic. Can someone tell her, like, what is she even doing with, like, the whole organic thing? Like, what is she doing? She spent $2. So this is a couple. Yes, she killed him, driving her car into a brick wall after all of these text messages. So we're just here reporting the truth. She says, that's not organic. She says, I have to drive Autumn home though. He says, well, I'll get Chipotle later with you. She says, okay, maybe. She says, are you sure you don't want a trip tomorrow? She says, the school is ass. She says, I'm literally surrounded by little ass kids. He says, I really don't want a trip with people I don't know at my house. Kenzie says, can we just do it? Oh, so now she's trying to do rugs, but then she was like, aren't you the rug addict? And now she's taking his drugs. I know his days are numbered at this point. You guys, this is it. Like, I feel like she's already thinking of murdering him. This is 21 days before she does this crime. She says, can we just do it? I want to. You cannot trip if that's what you want. He says, okay, just don't do it at my house. She says, what the F? That's the whole point. You know that. I wouldn't be a dick because I'm not in the mood. There will be problems. He says, Kenzie, I can't trust people at my house, especially tripping. Nah, not after what happened. Kenzie says, like, it's just Nina's boyfriend. Why are you making this such an issue? He says, I don't know either of them. Kenzie says, you know Nina. Dom says, barely. She says, WTF. You barely know Rosie or Bubba. Dom says, I know them a little better. Kenzie said, no, you don't. Dom says, Kenzie, I'm not having people I don't know doing drugs at my house anymore, period. This isn't a hard request. Maybe after I meet him a couple of times. Kenzie said, thanks for ruining my friendship with them. So they just wanted to use you for drugs. Okay. She clearly knows what she's good for. Dom said, that's not doing that, but okay. Kenzie says, nah, you did. Thanks. He says, why wouldn't they be friends with you? She sends a screenshot. She says, maybe because you're weird AF about anything fun. You would rather have me have a bad trip than to have fun. Dom says, Kenzie, I can't trust people at my house no more. If something happens, I'm effed. Kenzie says, they are not RETARDS. Kendall is, she says, Kendall is Dory, the fish in human body. That B is stupid AF. She says, like they know. If you're that worried, put a gate up. She says, answer now. She says, yeah, I'm mad at you. Dom says, a million other things could happen. It's reasonable. She says, you have 4 seconds. Dom says, can you make a cup of coffee for me when you get to my house? Been taking dabs, wanna be tired and shit. Kenzie says, why would I do that for you when you think you can just silence me? Like, it's so effing rude and you just continue to do it. She says, I'm dead ass asking you, why the F do you think that's okay? Dom says, because I feel the energy. Hey, green-eyed Southern girl, what does this even mean? A fish in human's body? I don't know. What does she mean by that? Is that like a diss? I'm saying she's the messy part. She is. With all of the poison she puts in her body, why does organic matter? I don't know. Dom says, because I feel the energy. Kenzie says, okay, I'm going to give you one last chance. Dom says, I won't silence you. Kenzie says, I don't know. You keep doing it literally every chance you get. So I don't know why I'm supposed to believe that. She says, how much coffee? Like, what's the ratio? He says, just look it up on Google, either 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon. She says, how many scoops do you want? Dom says, you remember what Frankie looked like? Look for him. He might be with him. Kenzie says, I don't know. I'll look for Mikey or Lana. So they must have gone somewhere. Oh, the carnival, right? He says, okay, I seen my cousin Johnny too. LOL. Kenzie said, who? Dom says, get him real quick. I'm by exit of ride we were just at. Okay, so they went to the carnival. And then that was at 8:40 p.m. And now it jumps to the 11th. She says, annoying. I'm going to bed. She says, can y'all get the F out? Go outside. Go, 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 go outside, go outside, go. Dom says, hold up. She says, go outside now. Dom says, let me make your pasta real quick. She says, I'm so serious. Nah, I don't even care. Y'all are annoying and weird AF. I don't want to listen to that weird gay conversation. Literally just go. Like WTF. It's embarrassing AF. I'm for real annoyed. Like WTF. Just go. You must be really trying to annoy the F out of me. WTF. And then she sends a bunch of TikToks. More TikToks. More TikToks. All of these TikTok links. And then she says, did you watch at 11:09 a.m. on the 11th? She says, okay. Dom says, I'm trying to move these appliances. Kenzie says, I'm so salty. F it. They're saying there's a built-in SIM card. Kenzie says, then why the F do they give us? Dom says, yeah, there's only one. They put it in the phone. She says, then why do she's doing typos. Then why do through give us one? Do you want me to come help? She says, let me know. Dom says, on the phone. Kenzie says, okay, I'm going to run to my P.O. box real quick. Dom says, can you go to Speedway and grab a bag of ice? He says, on the phone. Kenzie says, bruh. And yes, who are you on the phone with? I need to show you something. Dom said, my dad. Kenzie says, how much ice? She says, nug. Nug. WTF. Small or large? What the F? Okay, I'm getting small. Like, what the F? I'm leaving. Dom says, okay then. She says, keep trying to make me feel bad and blame me. It's literally rude. I try to help you the best I can, but you don't care or want to see that. Dom says, leave me right now and stop giving me shit. It's now 1:30 p.m. She says, you just want to run to Blair and make me feel bad. Dom says, no, I don't. Kenzie says, I'm not giving you shit. Dom says, you don't give a single F. You don't care how I feel. So leave right now. Leave, 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 leave. She says, what the F? He says, leave. She says, the thing I tried to be there for you, but you only want to hear from Blair. You don't let me be there for you. I say one thing wrong and you freak out. And then all of a sudden, I'm just so bad. Dom says, no, you got offended for no reason. He says, leave. She says, no, I didn't. I don't get offended for no reason. And I'm not offended. It's just rude. She says, why the F are you taking your anger out on me? She says, like you said, you were going to try to think without your emotions. I don't think you're doing it. Dom says, leave. Get the F out. You obviously don't understand. Kenzie said, keep talking to me like this and see what happens. Dom says, I'm stressed. Kenzie says, you obviously don't know how to treat anybody who's there for you every single day. I can see that and I'm trying to help you, but you're just being mean to me. Dom said, Kenzie, you weren't there for me. You got offended for no reason. Leave the F right now if you can't be cool. He says, don't text me. I'm stressed enough. So leave or shut up. She says, I was there for you offering to help and have my dad come help you. Then you just freaked out on me. I hope you didn't lock the door. And that's at 2:58 p.m. And then it jumps to 7:01 p.m. He says, you want dinner? She said, stop texting me. We are not cool. She says, this girl is pissing me off. Dom said, who? Kenzie said, do you have Venmo or Cash App? Dom says, no, I can't take those right now. My Cash App doesn't work. She said, that's what I thought. Dom says, and I don't have Venmo. Kenzie says, why would you leave after I tell you I'm not feeling good? She says, okay, cool. We can have problems. Clearly, that's what you want. She says, bet. Dom says, do you want me to do anything for you? She says, we have problems. I'm not surprised though. We always do. Dom said, I ain't seen the text. I was in a convo with my dad. He says, a horse died at the racetrack. Kenzie says, I don't give a single F. Ew. She's so evil. Lock the door. Oh my God. We're screaming right now. Dom was adorable. He could have had a grown-up woman and gotten rid of guitar pickhead infection queen. I think she knew he was going to find someone better. She's jealous of everyone. This is when you block and stop talking. Yeah, Dustin. Yeah. He's saying leave. No, she won't. She's going to key his car. You're lucky. We've been through 30,000 pages. No joke. Yo. YouTube hypes. Yeah. Hype it up. Hype it up. She's making me so damn nervous. I know. She's on rugs. She's never there for him. I know. She's freaking at this point. That's crazy. She says, I don't give a single F. You're literally so unreliable and unloving. Like, this relationship is not working. Dom says, I asked if you wanted me to help do anything, and you said you didn't. Actually, you just didn't say anything. Kenzie says, I want you to do something. I'm not telling you to do anything. I don't need to beg for your attention. He says, I did. Kenzie said, millions of people on the internet would give me attention in a heartbeat. Yes, Kenzie, we're giving you attention because we're exposing you for the jealous, abusive, murdering girlfriend that you are. He is literally a walking dead man. That's his dad. His dad. She doesn't love his parents. I know. So y'all think she had thoughts of murdering him ahead of time? I don't know if murdering him, but definitely some kind of plan of um, like no one can have him but me. I don't know what that looked like, but I wouldn't be surprised if she premeditated all of it, but I don't know. Let's see. She says, millions of people on the internet would give me attention in a heartbeat. Dom says, I asked what I could do. Kenzie said, this relationship is not working. Dom says, okay, then break up with me. Dom says, people on the internet would do things for me too. LOL. There's always different grass. Sometimes it ain't greener. Sometimes it is. Oh my God. I'm scared for him. Okay, and then she's sending expensive shoes, links to shoes, Jeffrey Campbell shoes. She says on the 12th at 9:25 p.m., she says, I guess I'll just go back to sleep. Dom says, what? Kenzie says, I told you they're everything and you just leave me alone. Dom says, you were asleep, Kenzie. I've been here for 5 minutes. I was running places. Kenzie says, I've been up for more than 10 and you're still there. Like, I'll just leave. So it's a 12 at 9:29 p.m. He says, okay, then leave, Kenzie. Oh my gosh. And then on the 13th, we're only like a little bit less than 300 texts away or pages. I think that's a lot still. She said, Kenzie says, birthday list on the 13th. She says, vintage designer bags, pantaloons, vintage Chanel sunnies, Balenciaga butterfly sunnies, Goyard bag, Lanvin Gallery department shoes, Skims, Margiela tabby shoes. She's literally asking for some of the most expensive stuff. What? Link for clothes. Jeffrey Campbell shoes too. I know. That is insane. I know. She makes me want to vomit. Dude, that was her birthday list. She says, okay, then Dom sending pictures of weed on Snap. More pictures of weed on Snap. Oh, okay, there's the weed. More Snapchats. Okay, on the 13th at 11:04 a.m., she says gay. She says turn it down. Oh, wait, it jumps to the 14th. She says turn it down at midnight. She says now. She says, why are you throwing shit? Is someone here? Dom says, I don't know, check. Kenzie says, your mom on the 14th at 10:21 a.m. She says, pull the van into your driveway. Dom says, oh, okay. Kenzie says, did you ask her if BLT was in your driveway at 5 a.m.? Dom says, no, I didn't. Kenzie said, ask. Why are you not answering? She says, question mark. She says, I'm gonna leave. So I would start being nice. Literally, WTF. Like, why would you just spoil that to me and continue to be mean? Like, you're not wanting me to go. You've been mean to me all morning long. Dom says, Kenzie, you couldn't stop snooping on my phone. Your fault. It's spiked. He says, I guess I'll just get something else. She said, I wasn't even looking at your phone. Like, what the F is your issue? No, it's your fault for telling me. Do not gaslight me. Literally, like, what the F is wrong with you? You've been mean all morning. Dom says, okay, be mad. She says, all for real, not come. Dom says, you spoiled it, not me. Oh, spoiled. Kenzie says, you can believe that all you want, but the words came out of your mouth. Maybe you just kept your mouth shut about it. She says, I forgot you literally cannot plan surprises for anything. Dom says, then you just go be mad because I don't want you to sit by me while I'm ordering it. So I guess I'll just order something else. She says, I mean, you could have just ordered in the bathroom or something. They're literally fighting over him trying to buy her a birthday present. This is morbid, I know, but I think another week and Dom would have been done. I wish they never went to that house that night. She will never leave out of the fear he will lock the door. She says, I mean, you could have just ordered in the bathroom or something. Like, didn't anyone ever teach her, AKA Natalie Shirilla, like, it's the thought that counts? You know that, like, tacky quote? Like, it's not the gift or whatever, it's, like, the thought. Like, does she ever just shut up about using him and his money? I'm so disgusted. She says, "You could have just sat down and pretended like you were on your phone because I wasn't even looking at your phone. I could give 2 Fs what you're doing on your phone unless you're cheating on me." Dom says, "Well, you looked at my phone 5 minutes before that. And when I started being sus after that, you should know." Kenzie says, "I didn't know you were being sus. I thought you were just in a bad mood." She says, "Thank you so much for spoiling the surprise. Like, really, thank you so much." She says, "Today is gonna effing suck. Like, you're literally just gonna ruin my day." She says, "I thought this would be fun." Dom says, "Well, it's not a surprise. I'm just gonna order something else." Why does it have to be a surprise? One in the chat if you get mad when you know what the surprise is. Like, I hope none of you say that. No, she's eating honey buns. Dude, I don't give a shit. Even if I know the surprise, I'll still act like I'm impressed. Natalie, are you listening to your precious perfect daughter? No, Natalie's hitting the blunt. She ain't listening right now. She ain't sharing and she ain't listening. She's a monster. I know. He says, "Well, it's not a surprise. I'm just going to order something else." Kenzie says, "Maybe you shouldn't have drank last night." I mean, if you didn't just come up to me and yell at me and tell me what the surprise was, then it would still be a surprise. He says, "Whatever, Kenzie, I'll find you something else to get you." Dude. Renee says, "My husband bought me a candle set early on together when we were broke. I was so irritated. I regret that because he did the best he could and I didn't appreciate it." Renee, that's growth, baby. Look at that. We're realizing our own mistakes as we go through these texts. I love it. I love it. Me too. I'm one of those who the thought doesn't count. Yeah, dude. I'm like, in this shit world, I'm like, really? I'll just buy myself whatever I want. I appreciate the thought. Don't get me wrong. I really do. My heart is absolutely so sad for Dom. I don't even care if this was planned or not. She still killed him. Yes, she did. Gaslight? Hmm. He says, "Whatever, Kenzie, I'll find something else to get you." She says, "Well, I wanted that." He says, "Well, when you start trying to fight with me, how am I going to explain myself?" He says, "No other way." She says, "It's whatever. Just don't talk to me unless you're going to be nice." He says, "So I guess next time, maybe think about it." She says, "I wasn't trying to effing fight with you. I was just saying I'm going to leave if you keep being weird." He says, "Yeah, that's fighting. And that'd be effed up if you left. My mom spent $300 on your ticket." Where are they? What did I miss? He says, "So yeah, that's going to make me mad. You're choosing to make a problem, is what you were doing." He says, "I'm done talking about this. Now you got me mad." It's the 14th at 1:13 p.m. He says, "What you want to eat before we go?" She says, "I already ate." He said, "Bet." She says, "I didn't make it a problem. It's just embarrassing when you move when I'm trying to sit next to you and you have a friend over." So now they're fighting about who sits next to Dom at the dinner table. That's funny. Well, it's not funny, but you know what I mean. He says, she says, "When I'm trying to sit next to you and you have a friend over, like you should always want to be with me." I feel so like smothered by Kenzie. And we didn't even know her in real life. Could you imagine? No, I can't actually. Dom says, "You sure you won't need anything else?" She said, "It makes me feel unloved." She says, "I don't know." Dom says, "Kenzie, I didn't want you to see your present." Kenzie says, "Well, you could have made it less mean." She says, "When are we going?" She says, "Okay. So we're just not going to text back now?" He says, "Come over." She says, "Roll up." She says, "OTS starting. It's on. Hurry." Oh, I think she meant it's starting. She said, "Hurry, come." He says, in line. She says, come. It's on right now. He says, okay, let me order. She says, hurry. And then she sends a screenshot of a little cat. She says, you find it? She says, Dom, now it's midnight. He says, no. She says, maybe it's just at your house then. Is it not showing up? She says, where are you at? He says, walking back. She said, be careful, be careful. The cops just has have the dog out with no leash. Dom says, I was talking to them. It's fine. I asked if they seen the ring. Kenzie says, did they? He says, I don't know if I have anything. She says, twin with me today. Dom says, I don't know if I have anything to twin with your skims. She says, I'm about to come. She says, babe, why? Babe? He says, I don't have nothing that color, LOL. He says, best that would match would be what I wore Wednesday, but I'm not going to wear that again. She says, I feel like you should just wear that again. She's sending a bunch of Skims links. She was obsessed with Skims. And then it jumps to the 16th. We're like 13 days out from her being schmurdered. She said, someone's knocking at 11:10 a.m. on the 16th. She says, front door. He says, check who it is through the peephole. Kenzie says, it's for your mom. She says, how long? I need to pee. Dom says, I'm going to go grab stuff and then I'll drop you off. Kenzie says, okay, let me know. When are we going? The grad party is at 4. Question mark, question mark. She sends 10 question marks. She says, should I go? Please let me know. Dom says, I'll take you real quick. My bad. We're doing the car. He says, walk over. She says, where? He says, next door. She said, should I just get dropped off? Dom says, yeah. She says, okay. She says, I'm guessing we're not going to make it to Whole Foods. Dom says, we'd have to go after Nina's or right before. He says, can you start spitting in the sink? Ew, wait, what? He says, can you start spitting in the sink at 1:26 p.m.? She says, after I want to go to the carnival. Dom says, I just got spit on my hands. Kenzie said, how? Dom says, because I grabbed your spit paper towel. What do you mean, how? She says, well, you know I do that. What? She spits into paper towels. Like loogies? Ew. Wait, what? I mean, she could just do the sink. LMAO. Imagine a guy trying to twin with Skims. Well, now they have like the mail line or whatever. Ew. Oh my God, don't tell me if you do that, please. Keep that to yourself. Gross, what's wrong with her? I don't know. That like makes me want to throw up. Ew, does she chew? I don't know. Effie's like, dang it, I'm eating a cookie. And I'm over here like, pardon me. Pardon me while I go throw up. She's gross. She says, well, you know I do that. You seen me spit this morning. Why does that gross me out? Dom says, the plumber's leaving. If you want me to pick up. She says, I'm here at 1:30 p.m. She says, on the way. He says, you good? She says, I'm going to file a police report. Wait. Back up. Back that ass up. He says, you good at 10:29 p.m. on the 16th. And then she says, I'm going to file a police report. This is bad. This is when I think it's bad. This is the 17th. The crash happened. What was it? The morning of was it the morning of the first? Why can't I remember? I should know at this point. I'm a professional. Was it the first? Yeah, it was the first. I have to look it up. Wait, was it the morning of the 1st or the 31st? Someone's going to come for me. It was the 31st. So we're like 13 days away. Thank you, Rebecca. The idea of having someone to ask at least spit in the sink. I don't want to talk about it anymore. This girl has no class. Gypsy Girl says, what disgusts me all the way up until her court statement is her continually saying, we were soulmates. Yes, Gypsy Girl. Remember when she's like, I would do anything to take it back. If I could get hypnotized and find out why I'm a crazy bitch, I would do it. That's what she basically said. But thank you for the super chat, love. I really appreciate that. Emotional abuse. I know. Throw it out, nasty. Yeah, I know. You guys are still on that. Okay. She says on the 17th at 1:01 p.m., I'm going to file a police report. He says, if you do, I'm telling your mom you're a P. YouTube doesn't like the word, but prostitute. Do you hear me? Okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but I have a problem with it with Kenzie. Absolute trash, says Mallory. He was the air that I breathe. That's effed up. Yeah, that's effed up. Her Facebook account said she was a widow. I do remember that. I do kind of remember that. He says, if you do, I'm telling your mom you're a prostitute, because you are. Dude, that's crazy. She says, okay, that doesn't really bother me. I mean, you've already blackmailed me enough on it. Like, I literally don't give a single F. He says, okay, let me know when you file that report. I have a whole report about your situation with your feet. Ooh, I wonder what else Dom knew that we don't know about. Yeah. He says, I have a whole report about your situation with your feet. Kenzie says, all you are is mentally abusive, physically abusive, and a terrible boyfriend. You don't do anything good for me, and you literally treat me like shit and call me the worst names you can think of. The fact that my boyfriend of 4 years just tried to end my life by steering me off of the highway, that's how I know you're not in love and you never were. Somebody who loves me would never do this to me. I have to cough. Oh my God, I almost choked. Oh no, I need mouth to mouth. Okay. Really, I do. Sorry, my throat was like, she says, she says, okay, wait, this is when she threatened, wait, who got called? His mom? No, yes. Most cracking. Let me get a drink of water before I like pass. I'm like trying to breathe and talk, but I'm like hyperventilating because of these texts. Okay, she says, okay, remember the mom got called and it was in the police interview that we're gonna watch maybe tomorrow. This is the time when I think Miss Russo was gonna do something about it, but she didn't. Remember? It was like, yeah, this is it. This is the time. Somebody else was, I think, was there. Wasn't one of the friends there and he ended up getting picked up? Yes. She says, or maybe not. Maybe that wasn't the time. The fact that my boyfriend of 4 years just tried to end my life by steering me off the highway. You guys, chill, Melly. You're too funny. Okay, wait. He did that? Dom did this. I know we've heard this before, but you guys, I can't help but play devil. I have to play devil's advocate here. Don't come for me. You know I always do. Could it be possible that Dom that night or morning, early morning? I have to. I have to be the guy that looks at, well, the girl, but you know what I mean, that looks at both sides. Could he have swerved and created the crash? I don't know. We don't know. It's just a thought. Don't come for me. She's setting up her alibi. I have thought of that and heard that before too. I am honest. But there was only the black box. Remember, the black box only said there was one instance where there was a sharp turn. So I was thinking maybe they were fighting and she was like swerving and then he was like, no. And then, the crash. But there was only one instance where the black box showed a very sharp turn. I think he was trying to stop it. The swerve was at the last minute, according to the black box. No matter what, they were going to hit that building. And we're never going to know. And we're never going to know because Kenzie's a damn liar, a stinky liar. The boys both told loved ones they loved him. That was strange. But if you're going to die and that crash happened so fast into 100 miles per hour. So leave it. Don't make fun of me. He's just like, I do that like twice a day. Sudden swerve could be oversteering. She was pissed off for sure. The car was also shifted manually from drive to neutral, then back to drive. She controlled gas pedal. That is true. That is true. There was no sign of the brake being pressed. It hit on Dom's side of the car. Your son's like, what's going on? He's like scared. He's like, what's going on, mom? She hit the gas as soon as she turned on the road. Okay. I know. The police investigation really took off because of 360. She slammed the gas, he swerved. Okay, let's see. She says, my boyfriend of 4 years just tried to end my life by steering me off of the highway. That's how I know you're not in love and you never were. Somebody who loves me would never do this to me. He says, I really didn't, Kenzie, but okay. So is she setting up an alibi? Who said that? Was it Tia or Green Eyed? I can't remember. Okay. Or is she setting up an alibi because she's like, that's it. He wants to break up with me. He is not going to be with anyone else but me. And I'll be damned if he dates another female. Or was it like that? Yes, alibi. Okay. You tell me. Sarah Beth Gibbons. She floored it as soon as they got on the street. She knew what the F he was doing. I don't think Dom touched the wheel. Oh, I was gonna say, did they what do you call it? Like swipe for fingertips? Or fingerprints, not fingertips. I meant to say fingertips on the you know what I meant, the fingerprints. The fingerprints. The fingerprints. I wonder maybe the steering wheel was too destroyed to even be able to take fingerprints. Because I would have been interested to know, or did they? I have to go back. I would have been interested to know if Dom's hands were on. Well, I guess they could be from a prior time of him driving the car. So I guess maybe that's why. Fingertips work. Okay, he says, I really didn't, Kenzie, but okay. She says, somebody who loves me would just apologize because they care and want to make me feel loved. Dom says, goodbye. He says, I want my money too. She says, I should have known this relationship was never a real one. I told you I love tripping with you, and you just said you love tripping. Oh, so they were tripping when this happened? Dom says, civil claims court, you heard? He was like, wait, so they were tripping when that fight happened? Ooh. Oh. That's called, according to Bruce Rivers, self-snitching. I love him. But yeah, he's like, civil claims, yeah, easy. I'll take you there. Oh my goodness. This is why she wanted to kill him. She says, okay, then I'm going to the police station right now. He says, I'm telling your mom. She says, "I literally don't give a single F. Like, I don't know what you're trying to get it right here, but I can tell the whole world what you do for a living. Keep trying to blackmail me. You know I can blackmail you 30 times harder." Dom says, "Yeah, I make music. I'm a rapper. G, I'm the shit." Kenzie said, "Somebody who loves me would never talk to me this way or treat me this way." She says, "Yeah, I'm sure." He says, "You're the one who keeps taking it farther than it is." He says, "You could have just left it alone and I would go home." Kenzie said, "The only reason it went this far is because you tried to end my life." Oh. Ooh. Dom did probably reflexively grab wheel and turn it with your mind, trying anything to avoid hitting the building. He was going to take her to civil claims court. She had to stop him. Yeah, I believe that girl was partially awake for a while. I know. Touche. Alibi, no doubt. Okay, she says, "The only reason it went this far is because you tried to end my life." He says, "Kenzie, I didn't." She says, "You could have just apologized when you did something wrong, but I forgot you're too immature." He says, "Why would I try to kill myself too?" Then it wasn't. It wasn't him. I mean, we already knew that. But like literally, what is he even saying right now? He said, "I wouldn't try to kill myself too." So it wasn't like a love pact. You know how some people, that circus clown was like, "It was a love pact. It wasn't her fault. It was dumb." She's dramatic, put the blame on him. He says, "Why would I try to unalive myself too?" She says, "I'm already nervous driving in the rain as it is. And the fact that you would even try to steer me off the road and make my car spin out. Probably because you're mentally ill and you used to hit your head on the wall and choke yourself with a belt." Oh, that's a new one. We know that Dom had some issues, but like, what? She's the devil, period. Yay, Nama Owens. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. I appreciate you. That's awesome. I meant she blames him. She says, "So I don't know. I think that's a question you need to ask yourself." He says, "Whatever, Kenzie." She said, "That's what I thought. This relationship will never be the same after today. I don't even know if I can be with you after this. I absolutely cannot believe you just tried to end my life." Dom says, "Okay, then don't be with me." She says, "You need effing help." Dom says, "Kyle McCarthy was right about you, I guess." Kenzie says, "You blackmailed the person you love. You tried to kill the person you love." Dom says, "No, you blackmailed me. You threatened cops on me first for no reason. So yeah, I'ma say, I'll tell your mom that. You blackmail me every week. It's always cops or something with you. Like Kyle was right, for real." Kenzie said, "End this. LOL. Clearly you want to be with me, but treat me like shit. So end it." And Kyle F's 16-year-old girls. Go be cool with him. LMAO. That's not a flex. Let me know when I can come get my things. This is when they were broken up. And remember, they were like making up. They had just gotten back together the night of the crash. This is when they broke up. They were like rekindling or making up that morning of the party and the night, or the night of the party and the morning of the crash. Kenzie could give two Fs what her mother thinks. Yeah. Wow. So they did break up, kind of. She says, "Let me know when I can come get my things." He says, "I'm sorry." She says, "This isn't going to be enough to fix it this time." Dom says, "Well, I'm sorry." Kenzie emphasizes her message. He says, "I just wanted to say sorry. That's it." On the 18th at 9:26 a.m. She says, "Oh, so you wanted to say sorry, but you don't want to fix any of the massive problems you created? Cool." Dom says, yeah, it's not like anything's broken. There's no fixing. Kenzie says, if that's how you feel, then we're done. He says, okay, then. She says, if you can't see what's broken and what needs to be fixed, then there's no point of being in this relationship. Yesterday, you almost ended my life or could have ended my life. And all your mom cared about was you not going to jail. Like, I'm literally never going to talk to your mom again unless she apologizes. So we were right. It was that instance that's in the interviews and stuff where, wow, she was over him too. That's what one of you guys said in the chat. Dom says, I didn't try to do anything. She says, one more reply that is not trying to fix this and I'm blocking you. She says, give me one more shitty reply that doesn't reply to anything and see what happens. Dom says, I'm just saying, I didn't try to kill us. I was not trying to do that. The investigator was like, no. We're going to prove that he did not attempt to take his own life or her life while they were at it. She said they were sleeping on the couch. When she woke up, he wasn't there because they were like not even really fully back together. She was faking it. She knew when Dom was going to take him out. Okay. I'm not ending it. Oh my God, don't freak out. I know some of you are going to be like, what? I need to get my water refilled before I dehydrate up here. So I'm going to leave you guys with that call while I go grab a water bottle real quick. You know what call I'm talking about? The evil call.
Like before, lied. You lied and said you would never lock me out of the house again. That is why we got back together last time we broke up. But I forgot.
You broke up with me earlier.
Word because you were a little fucking weak bitch.
You broke up with me earlier. You really broke up with me earlier.
This is your last chance to open the door, or you are not coming out of this house all night, because I will not leave.
You literally broke.
Can you guys hear it?
You literally broke up with me earlier. Like what is the point you're trying to you?
Wait, can you guys hear it? I want to make sure you guys can hear. I never heard this. Okay, I think it's important we hear this, and then we'll finish. We're gonna get through the text. Don't you guys worry. I'm not leaving you guys. But listen to this call. We need to hear this.
Broke up with me earlier.
I didn't. I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said we're not together. You really said that shit. You really broke up with me earlier. What are you trying to make? Why would I just let you in my house if you break up with me and you're threatening to break my shit? You're threatening to key my car, threatening to break the doors.
I will key your car if you do not let me in the house.
You're gonna key my car if I don't.
If you don't let me in the house, yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. So just let me in the house.
No, why can't you just be calm at least for a second and I can feel comfortable letting you in the house?
I am calm. I don't think you get to decide that with your fucking weird ass trauma problems.
You're really threatening to fucking key my car and shit. What else are you threatening?
Dom, I'm gonna give you one last chance to open the door. I'm gonna leave and do what I said I was gonna do.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna give you one last chance.
Kenzie, look. Let me go to dinner.
No.
You can let me go to dinner, and then I can let you come over later.
No, you're not, because I'm coming to dinner too.
Why? You should have told me you wanted to come.
You fucking retard. She already put me on the reservation, so fucking open the door, you dumbass.
Alright, well, here, let's just go next door then.
No, we're not going next door.
No, I'm not letting you hit the house.
We need to talk first now, because you just betrayed me.
Alright, we can talk outside. Here, cut it out. Don't try to come in.
Okay, I know some of you have already heard that. I have it on my videos. We've played it here a million times. Let me pull up the text messages. We're back at it. She's a demon. I know. It's so weird listening to that call after we know what she talks like in the text messages. Okay. He says, oh. We can leave it at that. Actually, this one I like. This is crushing. I know. You are sorry. Oh, me? Oh, you mean Kenzie. I was like, he says, I'm sorry. I'm just saying I didn't try to kill us. I was definitely not trying to do that. So dry. He says, that's what he said. She says, I don't believe that one bit. And that replay looked pretty shitty to me. So are you planning on replaying the same? Or are you just going to keep being a little B? What replay is she talking about? She says, are you going to continue being a little B? Dom says, LOL, okay, call me a little B. She says, I'm going to give you one last chance before I block you. She says, if you are capable of fixing anything that you caused yesterday and you can't apologize, know what you did wrong and how to prevent this ever from happening again, then I'm not going to be with you and I'm not going to be with an abuser. Dom says, I did apologize and I'm just going to wing it next time, like you. He says, we don't need to prevent it, remember? She said, was that a smart ass reply? Not sure what's going on with your brain, but it's giving you must want to be single. This is on the 18th. Dom says, last time we got in a fight, I wanted us to figure out how to act and prevent the situation, but you said we don't need to. You said you can just wing it. Kenzie says, this is your third chance I'm giving you to fix the situation. If this is not fixed, then I will be leaving this relationship because all you're showing me is you're incapable of treating me with love. Dom says, Kenzie, all I was trying to do is say, I'm sorry. You're the one making this more of a fight. You can leave the relationship if you want. Whatever is best for you. Kenzie said, saying sorry is not enough to fix the situation. You tried to end my life. You told me you want to die. And your mom only cared about you going to jail when you literally just try to steer my car off the road. Being this dismissive is honestly the most disgusting thing ever. Like, are you going to keep being the bottom or are you going to man up and fight for your relationship? Because I'm not going to be with you if you're going to keep being like this. I need more than I'm sorry, because what you did yesterday was something you've never done before, and I was terrified. I was going to lose my life due to abuse and the fact that you think sorry, it's good enough to make this and the fact that you think sorry, it's good enough to make this good is obviously a joke. Dom says, Kenzie, I was just saying that. Sorry. I wasn't trying to end anyone's life. You should believe that. Kenzie says, why would I believe it when you did it? How can I believe that you're never going to do that again? Oh my God, this is insane. Oh, thank you, Lisa Marie Bablet. Thank you for gifting. Who got it? I swear. StreamYard and YouTube. Ugh. I can't even see who got it. Oh, there we go. Just a little delayed. Or not. Maybe it didn't even just show me. Oh yeah, it did. Thank you, Lisa Marie. Pizza Hut got it. Pizza Hut. Welcome. Didn't he say he was done? Yes. Thank you, Lisa Marie. Appreciate you, love. Okay, this is confusing because I'm like, wait, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe. What do you guys believe? Let me know. Okay, she says, how can I believe you're never going to do that again? She says, I can't because I don't know your limit. Somebody who loves me would never do that. Never. I couldn't even do it if you told me to, but I guess that's different for you. Dom said, yeah, I wasn't trying to do anything. I wasn't trying to kill myself first. I would die first. LOL. Wait, the fact that a similar situation happened a week and a half before and this is going on is insane. I wonder if she did plan it and it was like a test run. She's overreacting. I believe him. It is so wild. Oh my gosh. What if she was like, this is like a test run of what I'm going to do to kill him? Because if it ain't me, it's nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I know girls like that. This is where she got the idea, says Tia. Was that Tia? Storm's brewing, says Cuff. Yeah, Storm's brewing, that's for sure. Oh, no, it was Green-Eyed. Green-Eyed said that. Dom gave her the idea. I'm screaming. He says, I wasn't trying to kill myself first. I would die first. LOL. Like, if you don't believe me, then yeah, just break up with me. If you can't believe me, there's no point anyways. Kenzie says, I mean, the fact that you're not saying anything to make me believe you shows you would do it again. And so you're saying to kill yourself would end me too? Why can you not fix problems for the effing death of you? Like, it's almost like you have fun doing it. Dom says, no, I was saying if I was trying to kill anyone in the situation, I would die too. Okay, listening to Miss Russo tell that part about the fight in the car is way different than like this. Way different. Dom says, and probably first. How did he say this like 10 days before he died? He like literally saw his own death. He like called it. He's like, I would die first, of course. What? She says, so you would kill yourself first, so I die second. Why are you ignoring everything I say? He sends an emoji. She says, why can you not fix this for literally anything? Like, would somebody have to pay you for you to try to do this? Dom says, I'm not saying I was going to kill anyone. LOL. Kenzie says, like, I don't get why it's so hard for you to just make me feel good about the situation. Like, do you think you're right or something? Do you think what you did was okay? Do you think what your mom did was okay? Dom says, I'm not going to sit here and text you, try to fix it. Kenzie says, if I have a son, I will never raise him like your mom is raising you guys. Kenzie said, that's all I needed to hear. He says, you want me to fix it? I'll do it in person. Kenzie says, good to know. Now stop texting me. You're such a waste of my time. Why would I feel comfortable coming anywhere near you? I do not feel comfortable around you after you just tried to end my life. This needs to be fixed over the phone before I even want to think about coming near you in person ever again. Dom says, okay, cool then. We can be done. Don't talk about my mom on some BS. Kenzie says, oh, all your mom cared about was you going to jail. This is literally the most disgusting thing anyone has ever said to me. Dom says, yeah. Kenzie said, it's okay, Dom. Just try to end your girlfriend's life. Just don't go to jail. Oh, she's like mocking what she would say to Miss Rousseau. It's okay, Dom. Just try to end your girlfriend's life. Don't go to jail. Dom says, because she believes me, actually. Oh my goodness. Yeah. He says, I'd rather be dead than in jail. Kenzie says, yeah, because you ride her effing DICK. Dom says, I never wish jail on anyone. Oh my gosh. I would never wish jail on anyone, and Kenzie got jail. This is a very interesting thing going on here. Spiritually, at least. Kenzie says, and you pay for half of her things. Dom says, you throw jail around like it's nothing. Kenzie said, of course she's going to grip on you. You're her last child she still has control of. You throw around abuse like it's nothing. Dom says, so yeah, someone threatens jail, I'm going to be more pissed than someone threatening my life. That's a fact. He says, you can pull out a knife and say you're going to stab me. I'd stay with you. No. We don't need a Courtney Clenny all up in here, Dom. Kenzie says, I honestly don't give a single F what you think about the situation because it didn't happen to you what happened to me. Dom says, you call the cops on me. Then I'm done. Kenzie says, no, and I don't think what I think he should try to blackmail me with for the whole time. Dom says, you feel me? Kenzie says, then break up with me right now if you can't fix this problem and you make me feel like you didn't try to kill me. Dom says, you don't want to be around me anyways, you said. Kenzie says, I don't want to be around you unless you prove to me that you wouldn't try to kill me. I mean, you haven't even proved that your apology is true. You're just apologizing because you're guilty, which you should be. I don't know why I have to explain this to you in depth. You should understand what you did wrong and how you should fix the problem. You love to make the people in your life feel like they are worth nothing. Dom says there's no way to prove an apology. You have to believe the sorry. And no, I apologize because either way, I want you to know I'm sorry. Whether we stay together or not. Don't want to end on an ugly fight. Kenzie says, no, you prove you're sorry by your actions, which have not done so. Your apology therefore means nothing. If you want me to know that you're sorry, then you should probably be nice in making sure I believe it, not being a dick. She said, Dom says, actions, not texting. Kenzie said, well, it looks like we're going to end with an ugly fight by how you're acting. She said, yes, actions is a form of texting. It could mean many things. If you can't be nice and respectful to me over text message, why should I ever want to believe you? Believe you can do that in person. And why would I feel comfortable with driving with you again? And I'm never going to talk to your mom again unless she apologizes to me. Dom says, you were disrespectful. I said sorry. You called me a little bee. Kenzie says, I told you an apology is not enough to fix this. Your next text better be trying to fix this or I'm blocking you. I'm not going to keep wasting my time with somebody who thinks my life is disposable. I never thought you would ever do something like that to me. I thought she would always protect me, but we learn new things about each other every day. Dom says, I would never try to kill you, LOL. Like, you're tripping for that. If we can't link up, nothing I can do. She says, do you think it's funny or something? Why would I feel comfortable linking with you after you just tried to end my life? He says, okay, then don't. So I guess we're done. She says, what is the difference of texting on here and in person? Like, if you can't prove that you're going to be good on here, then I don't believe that you're going to be good in person. Who the F does she think she is? Dom says, okay, then don't. He says, you don't have to. We just go our separate ways. She says, okay, then I guess the whole world is going to know what you did to me then. If you don't think you did anything wrong and you can't prove to me that you're sorry, Dom says, why threaten me? She said, that's not a threat. Dom says, yeah, it is. Kenzie said, I'm going to give you your last chance to fix this over iMessage. And then maybe I will think about talking in person, but right now I do not trust you at all. Dom says, I know what I did was wrong. I said I was sorry. You don't want to see me or trust me or think I was trying to kill you, then let's just go our separate ways. Because I can't be with someone who thinks I would try to kill them anyway. It doesn't have to be bad that we are breaking up either. Kenzie says, then why would you try to kill me if you didn't want me to think that? Dom said, we had good times. Kenzie said, well, clearly you want to break up. So should be done then. Dom says, it just isn't working out, I guess. Kenzie says, I mean, yeah, almost killing your girlfriend of 4 years is a little too far. And then your whack-ass mom saying I'm lying and only worrying about you going to jail, that's a whole ass joke. So since you want to be done so bad, I guess we're done. I'm so sorry it was hard for you to try to prove that you weren't trying to kill me. I should have known that would have been a struggle for you. I hope your mental health gets fixed. He says, hey, I gave you a chance to talk with me, but you don't trust me. Kenzie says, and I told you I don't feel safe coming near you because you have not proved that you wouldn't do this again. But I forgot, it's hard for you to literally fix anything without my full help. Dom says, okay, then don't believe me. LOL, it's nothing. I can change if you believe me or not. He said, that's all on you. She said, no, it's actually on you. Your words mean a lot. And right now you're just proving you wouldn't do it. You would do it again. He says, no, Kenzie, I would never try to unalive anyone. I care about, like, what do you think of me? Like, you just think I'm a schmurder or something? Like, it's cool. She says, I think you're bipolar and you have a personality change and you would kill me if you're too mad. I also think you need to go to therapy. Dom says, okay, then you don't have to be with me. I'm cool with whatever. Kenzie says, and I also think you need to detach from your mom because at this point, you're more with her than with me. If you're cool with whatever, then I don't want to be with you. I want to be with someone that's going to fight for me and be there for me and not try to kill me. Dom says, to be honest, no, I barely see my mom, but whatever. Yeah, we hardly hear him saying he's gonna like go hang out over there because she threatens to key his car and stuff. Like, I'm checking with you guys. I want to know how this thing, I know, sucks Dom back in. I keep saying, Dom, leave her, just like I scream at top when Shanann is walking to the front door. Oh my gosh. That one's tough. That's Shanann. He says, to be honest, no, I barely see my mom, but whatever. She knows I wouldn't try to kill anyone. LOL. Kenzie says, oh, then I guess you don't talk to her how you talk to me. Dom says, Kenzie, I just want everything to work out how it's supposed to. Kenzie says, I mean, you have dreams about unaliving Toph and talk about it all the time. So I guess you don't say that to her. It's okay. You don't care and you're not going to chase or try to fix it. So there's no point of being in a relationship. She says, you're cool with whatever. So go be with a effing 5. Oh, an effing 5. Like she's a 10. Go be with a 5. Oh no, I rolled my eyes. They're stuck. Just kidding. Dom says, I'm not going to fight. Like whatever is supposed to happen will happen. Kenzie says, you are literally such a bottom. I hate when she says that. Trying to isolate him. Yeah, she is. She says, like, where did this dismissive energy come from? It's so sad. If you're cool with whatever and you don't care about this relationship, then we're done. If you're not going to chase and try to fix this, we are done. Dom says, why you have nothing but bad to say about me? Have I said anything bad about you today? Kenzie says, yeah, actually, every single message you have sent me just proves that you don't care about this relationship and you don't have any plans on fixing it and you don't take life seriously. She says, I should have known being with you for 4 years is just a waste of my effing life. You can't do anything for me. My parents have been together for almost 30 years and they did not break up once. Cool, Kenzie, but they still raised you. So there's the problem. Okay. Dom says, just because I have a different view doesn't mean I don't care. Kenzie said, my dad has never done this to my mom. Like he's a bottom. She's emasculating him basically. Oh, thank you, Tasha. I think she was setting the stage to make it look like he could have possibly caused the accident. I could see that. She says, my dad has never done this to my mom. Dom says, yeah, Kenzie, that's why I'm cool with breaking up. She says, if anyone knows how a relationship should work, it's effing me. Look at your mom. I don't think you should take any advice from her. Dom says, I'm not going to chase something that I don't know for sure is going to work out. Kenzie says, okay, then break up with me. The only reason this isn't working out is because you don't know how to treat women. He says, okay, Kenzie, go poke a bear for half an hour, then go cry when it growls at you. So true. Kenzie says, you're the root cause of all of these problems, and you say I'm making the problem worse by standing up for myself, telling you should fix it. Maybe you should fix the problem when I told you saying sorry isn't enough to fix it. We could be cool right now. Dom says, you get what I'm saying? She says, no, I really don't care what you're saying unless it's trying to fix the problem. Your words mean nothing to me because your actions prove nothing. Dom says, well, Kenzie, I mean, you have threatened the cops on me hundreds of times. Kenzie said, you apologized and do the same thing a week later. Dom says, so I'm not saying anything you can use against me. Kenzie says, if you're worried about that, then I have a whole effing camera roll of proof. LMAO. Dom says, so you want to talk about anything? It has to be in person. Kenzie says, well, I don't feel comfortable being around you in person. You are a violent, evil person until proven otherwise. Dom says, and I don't feel comfortable with you with the cops. You're a snitch. Kenzie says, and your mother will also have to apologize because I will never talk to her again. Dom says, till proven otherwise. Kenzie says, do you want me to snitch? Because I could do that. Dom says, snitches get stitches. Kenzie says, okay, I'll just screenshot this message right here. Dom says, whether who does it. A, I'm not going to do anything. That's just what they get. Kenzie said, it's okay. I already screenshotted it and you already threatened me. So why would I feel comfortable with you? What is it going to be? Different talking in person than on here? You have no care to be in this relationship or effort. Dom says, okay, Kenzie, goodbye. I'm done doing this. You are only trying to argue. She says, keep being dismissive. I'm trying to get you to fix the problem how it should be done. Look, it's really not that hard. This could have been over within 2 sentences, but you just like to think you're right. I think everything in your head is the right way when your whole family is a mess. You have 2 minutes to reply or I'm blocking you. Dom says, block me then. This isn't getting anywhere. She says, say it then. Break up with me. If you're going to show me that, you can't make me feel safe and protected. 2-minute timer starting now. She says, keep being dry. You're just adding to the list of reasons of why you're proving that you're not a good boyfriend. We are on the 18th at 11:44 a.m., guys. Where does all her confidence come from? I don't know. She says, proving you're not a good boyfriend. Dom says, Kenzie, I was trying to work this out. She says, I don't care. And I'm telling you that you're not. Dom says, you keep calling me names and you don't want to talk to me in person. She says, you're clearly not because I don't trust you to talk in person. What's different than talking here? Dom says, and you threatening cops. Kenzie says, and I don't believe that you're going to be any better to me in person. And I did not threaten any police today. I only threatened to call the cops yesterday because I thought my life was in danger and I still do. Dom said, you said I can be a snitch and said you're screenshotting shit and stuff. You've threatened me today. Kenzie says, no, I really haven't. And you only proved to me that you're not capable of making me feel loved and protected. All you've done all day is try to make yourself sound like you are right and you care when I'm here telling you I know that you don't and I don't feel like you do. Why aren't you answering me? What's going to be different than talking in person than on here? Question mark, question mark, question mark. He says, how am I supposed to feel love or supposed to love you when you think I was trying to unalive you? Kenzie says, by proving that you love me and care about me and want to protect me. I don't know why that's so hard for you to do, which is why I don't believe that you do any of those things. When I told you apologizing isn't enough, you could have just proved to me that you care and love me, but instead you started an argument because it's hard for you to do that. Dom says, so what? Do you want me to just text you? I care about you and I want to protect you. Like, what good does that do? It's just a text message. Yeah, let me just prove that I care about you and love you by sending you a text message. I didn't think that was a thing or possible. She says, good to know that you don't care and you don't want to try. You really just keep showing me new sides of yourself and I can't believe this is the real you. Dom says, I was trying to been texting for an hour. I just didn't think I could say that much that would be effective over a text. Kenzie says, you've been arguing with me for over an hour and you have not tried to fix any of this. I said, we'll start with texting and once I feel comfortable, then we can talk in person. Dom says, Kenzie, you're the one who started arguing at all. I was saying I was sorry. Kenzie says, put how this conversation is going. I'm not getting that we're ever going to be able to talk in person because you cannot fix anything or prove anything. She says, all I was saying, sorry, is it going to fix this? Which I repeated maybe 4 times now. The real question is, when are you going to start reading my text messages and replying to that? Because all you seem to be is in your own world right now. I thought you were actually going to try to fix this for a second, but I should have known that's effing impossible. Dom says, okay, Kenzie, well, you already blackmail me a lot. So to be honest, yeah, I can't trust you. He says, you're just going to screenshot or videotape whatever you can to hold it against me. I want to believe that you won't, but that's all you've done. Kenzie said, it's okay. Just try to make this about me when you're the one who tried to kill me. So you're not going to try to fix any of this. You can't prove that you love me and you will protect me forever. Good to know. Dom says, believe what you want. Kenzie says, I will continue to believe that because you can't say it to me. Maybe we should just break up. My boyfriend should be able to say this to me in a heartbeat. It should be more than me asking you, should want to see it without me asking. You should care that I'm afraid to make me not afraid. Dom says, what are you just want me to say that I'm going to protect you forever? Kenzie says, you're literally a mess. Very manipulative and premeditated. I know. I'm with you, ATS. Sorry, Jakey. Sorry, Jakey, babe. I still want to save him. We should send a gift to Miss Russo. Oh, that's a good idea. I love that. We should do that from the Mellyverse. Okay, I'll look into it. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, love. Is she dumb? Yes, she is. Wow, says Mallory. I know. All this crap backfired on her. So when they're texting, they're not together. So the only time we get no text they're together, right? So they're really not together a lot. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh, that's cute. Forever? I know. I know. Imagine being in this relationship where you have to record each other for backup. Oh no, I cannot imagine being in a relationship like that. Lucky how she quickly went into, but I have been before. Lucky, Allie, what? We're not talking about it now. Dom came back from the grave and helped convict her. She says, you're literally a mess. She says, I'm done trying with you. He says, okay, then don't try. She says, you're going to hate your life when you lose me. Keep pushing me away. He says, I'm not, Kenzie. You're pushing me away. Kenzie says, then break up with me if you're not planning on fixing any of this. If that's hard for you to say that you love me and you will always protect me, then please break up with me. Dom says, I was trying to fix this, but you're not letting me. She says, you are not trying to fix this. Please stop lying to yourself. Actually, just go talk to your mom. I'm sure she can tell you since she's so smart. Dom says, smartest person I know. I guess I'll talk to her. Kenzie says, yeah, go talk to her and please break up with me. Just in the relationship, you literally wasted my entire high school. I'm so done thinking you care about me and that you love me. I literally just trapped with you. You only like to be nice when you want to. Dom says, you're trapped with me. Honestly, I don't think you're in the right mood for this conversation. I'm just going to talk to you later. She says, I'm in the perfect mood. I got sleep on it all night. This is me right here, and I know what I need in my life. You don't get to decide if I'm in the right mood. And I don't think you have the right mindset to have a girlfriend because you can't even tell me that you care about me and love me and want to protect me. You're just effed up. She says, now. Now. And she's screaming at him now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more text messages. And then he says, question mark. She says, we're done. Thank you for wasting 4 years of my life. He says, okay, Kenzie. She says, you can finally be with Hannah. Was he texting Hannah that morning? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe he did like Hannah. Look how quickly she went to the girl's prison. She didn't love him. She's a broken record. They're like begging each other to break up. It's literally quite insane. Jeez. She says, you can finally be with Hannah. If you cared about this relationship and wanted it to work, you would fix it now. Dom says, I didn't tell her. She says, we're done. She says, you're the worst. You have 5 minutes to open the door to your house. Oh my gosh. He says, I didn't tell her, meaning Hannah. Like, he didn't tell Hannah that they were broken up. He says, I didn't tell her. Kenzie says, we're done. You are the worst. You have 5 minutes to open the door to your house. Oh shit, she's at the house now. She says, you're going to tell me why I should stay in this relationship with you, and it better be 3 very good reasons. Dude, I'm sorry. Like, She says she does such great. He didn't tell her. Yeah, like he didn't tell Hannah. Like she was like, go be with Hannah. And he was like, no, I didn't tell her. Like I haven't talked to her yet and told her that we're broken up. Like that's basically what that was. He says, why are you here? She says, if you can't tell me any reasons on why I should stay in a relationship with you and what you love about me, then I'm done with you. You've wasted my whole high school experience. I thought you were the one, but clearly you're not. Dom says, I didn't tell anything, by the way. Kenzie says, you're going to tell me why I should stay in this relationship, and it better be some good effing reasons. She says, it's okay. We already have some major problems now. It's way more than what it was before. So you're going to open the door, or you can come in my car and you're going to tell me the 3 reasons why I should stay with you. If you can't give me the 3 reasons, then we are breaking up today. Dom says, not when you're all heated. You got me heated too, for real. She says, I am not heated at all. I don't think you get to decide that knowing you don't know me at all. Dom says, talking shit about my mom isn't cool. Kenzie says, I really don't give a single F how you feel. You tried to unalive me yesterday and you just ruined this relationship. Well, you're going to have to get over that because I'm never talking to that 𝐵𝐈𝐶H again. Ew. If my boyfriend talked like that about my mom, oh my gosh. I would have been like gone a long time ago, baby. It was like I never existed. For real. She's luring him to her car. Yeah, I expect a 3-page essay. Was there a girl named Hannah on the chat a couple lives ago? Yes, there was. I don't remember which one though. Effing trash. Ooh, yeah, trash smell. Oh, that sounds good. He says Oreo cups. Not me giving Mary Beth a sugar rush. Of course, Mary Beth. Thank you for being here. She says, well, you're going to have to get over that because I'm never talking to that 𝐵𝐈𝐶H again unless she apologizes to me deeply. Yuck. Miss Russo, we love you here. We love you. We don't like trashy Kenzie. Thank you. Thanks, Nug. Thanks, Alicia Nug. I appreciate you. You're always supportive as well. Thank you. What the F is wrong with her? I don't know. She says, unless she apologizes to me deeply, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to open the door or come in my car to talk because I am not leaving. He says, I need to shower. She says, I really don't care. So what option are you choosing? Are you choosing to let me leave and we're done forever? Or are you going to come out here and tell me 3 reasons why I should stay with you? He says, I don't want to right now. We should just do this later. She says, no, we're not going to do this later. I don't push my problems to the side unlike somebody. She says, they're going to be resolved now, or you just can be single and spend all the time in the world with your mom. Dom says, well, you got mad talking all that shit, so yeah, I'd rather wait. Kenzie says, okay, so you're single is what you're saying. Let me know right now, but I'm going to leave and you're going to be single. All you're giving to me is you're too immature to work this out. Dom says, you were just banging on my window. Kenzie said, yeah, I was trying to let you know I'm here because you blocked me once again, being immature. Dom says, fine, I'll come out. Give me a sec. She says, you're going to go in the backseat of my car because you're not allowed in the front. Dom says, okay, well, don't have it started. I don't want you to try to pull off. She says, do you think I would have my car started with you in it knowing what you just did? I'm very okay, and you're trying to kill me again. She says, you better come inside my car to give 3 reasons why I should be in this relationship with you and 3 reasons why you love me. You better come ready to prove that to me. Prove you're worthy. She emphasizes it. She says, you have 2 seconds to come outside or I'm leaving and we can just be broken up. Timer starts now. She says, open now. And then 2 minutes later, now. She says, yeah, this relationship is looking like it's not going to work. And did you tell Davion to unadd me or something? I have to sneeze. But wait, Davion is coming into the picture. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Okay, sorry, I had to sneeze. Wait. Okay. So Dom told Davion to unadd her. So Davion, wait, Dom told Davion, yeah. So Davion was in the picture a week before the crash. There is so much more to this story. I feel it in my bones and my cells and my brain. Bless you, Melly. Thank you. I did. I had to sneeze. I think she sacked Davion. What else did Davion know? Did what Davion know cause him to lose his life that morning? Davion was telling Dom to forget it. She says, did you tell Davion to unadd me or something? Ask him why he unadded me. Why are you not answering? WTF. She puts a bunch of dots. She says, okay, sus. Why the F are you not answering me? He says, I'm literally about to come back. Still the 18th at 4:21 p.m. She says, yeah, I don't give a F. Rosie's on the way. Dom says, okay, cool. Yeah, take whatever dabs you want. He says, want to bring me Chipotle back? She says, nah, F you. I'm done. You actually effed up. You're giving unloving, lying bum. He says, why, Kenzie? I told you exactly what I did. She says, we're actually going to have effing problems. Dom says, so you don't want to bring me Chipotle? She says, why the F would I want to? You literally do. Why the F would I want you to literally do anything for me after you literally just lied to me and you're trying to buy back my effing happiness? Ooh. There's something that happened here. Maybe they were on the phone or something. Hey, Creed Love. Maybe like, because she says, we actually have problems. Wait, there was a part. She says, you actually effed up. Was it the same thing or did something happen? He says, why, Kenzie? I told you exactly what I did. She says, we actually have effing problems. Dom says, so you don't want to bring me Chipotle? And that's when she said, you're trying to buy back my effing happiness. I thought you were only getting Chipotle if you could do that gay ass method. She says, yeah, no, we have problems. He says, I probably just go in and get it. Maybe I do a method. She says, yeah, then go get Chipotle. Make sure they make it good. Kids meal, 3 soft tortillas, steak, cheese, extra lettuce. Oh, that's her Chipotle order. I was going to say, well, Kenzie, we'll enjoy that for you while you have the prison food. What did I miss? Didn't Davion live with Dom? Did he end up? Oh, yeah, he was staying over there. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you guys. He was like staying over there, right? Because he was having problems with his parents. Huh. Bet she misses the Chipotle. Yep. Idea. She says, get that one drink and do 1/3 with the turmeric shit. He says, can I do the method? What is that? Can you guys tell me what the hell the method is? What am I missing here? Like, what am I missing? I don't know what the hell that means. He says, can I do the method? She said, OMG, I'm done. Literally, stop texting me. He says, fine, I won't do the method. She said, yeah, I'm so done with this. She said, how much is a roach? He said, $30. She said, no way. Can Rosie get one? She says, are you there? And that was at 5:06 p.m. on the 18th. And then she's sending a bunch of TikToks. She says, where did you go? Should we go now? He says, I can't find my papers. Get another one of them drinks. Kenzie says, okay, we got to give Rosie cash because I didn't bring any money. Dom says, just ask them for water. LOL. Which one you going to? She says, nah. She says, the mall. Kenzie says, did you ever ask Davion why he blocked me? Why is she stuck on that? Oh, Wim Hof method? No, I don't think it's that. Like he's talking about something. Wait, what did I miss? What did Tasha say? Oh, was it slang for meth? Is method mixing something with a drink? Rebecca's like pulling out. I'm dead. Is that when he heard Kenzie say, I'll crash this effing cart? Yeah, I think so. I would have said, Hannah will get me some. Wait, what does it mean? I don't know. I think Kenzie maybe had a thing for Davion. I didn't want to say it out loud, but I was going to sooner or later. I don't know what method is, by the way. I'll have to ask someone who knows. Like, if we can't figure it out, I thought lean was the method. They call it method. I never heard of lean being called that, but maybe it's beyond my time or something. I don't know. She says, did you ever ask Davion why he blocked me? Dom says, oh, I told him unblock you. Kenzie says, don't say that. Ask him why he blocked me. Dom says, he didn't know he blocked you. Kenzie says, how? What is the place called? What's the hotel by the bridge called? WTF. Can he leave? She says at 10:56 p.m. She says, I want to sleep. Can he? Dom says, we're trying to do something. Kenzie says, I'm mad at you now. Also, Blair better not shoot a basketball and you better be quiet. He says, let me get my bread, babe. She said, it's okay. Just invite people over when I thought we were doing something. You're not getting any bread with this. Why is he being loud? 5 question marks, 10 question marks, 15 question marks. WTF, she says at 10:59 p.m. So almost 11. She says, why? Why? She questions, why is he being loud? She questions all her question marks. She's nuts. He says, close the door. She says, you can. He says, okay. Dom says, he didn't shoot and we didn't know it was loud. We're being quieter. Okay, and that's the end of the 18th. On the 19th, he says, you should send it at 6:32. Oh my God, it's like 11 days or something before the crash. He says, you should send it before he changes his mind. Let him send it while he's horny, thinking with his DICK. Ew, please don't tell me Kenzie's doing something for money right now. Somebody's sending her money. What the actual hell? He says, let him send it while he's horny, thinking with his DICK. Yeah. Somebody Jackie's like, I'm getting a drink. She's getting money from someone. Ew. She's already a model, remember? My ass. Was Kenzie still living with Dom when he passed away? Yes. Okay, so let's read. She says Cash App. Okay, they redacted it. They redacted what Dom said here. I wonder if it was exposing who they're talking about. So it's redacted on Dom's end. Kenzie said, bet. Dom says, did he send the money? Kenzie said, no. She said, we got problems at 9:10 p.m. She says, literally don't talk to me. And then it jumps to the next morning, the 20th. Oh my gosh, we're like almost close to done. She says, you ready? He says, I'm ready still. Gotta get our stuff ready though. She says, here. She says, come. He says, grabbing a pod. She said, okay. She says, are you coming back? Are you? Did you roll up? He says, yeah. She says, bet. And then he's sending pictures of himself smoking. He says, had to smack it once in the car. She said, WTF? Dom says, I have 3. Kenzie says, oh, yay. Dom says, if you want. She says, should we come to the car to smoke? He says, if you want. It smokes way better in here. She says, okay, we're coming really quick. He said, that's why I hit it once. She said, bet. He says, okay, come quick. She said, coming. He says, you're taking a while. She says, I'm close. I'm going to be at the car and there's like a minute. She says, okay, that was at 2:52 p.m. And then it jumps to 11:21 p.m. She says, where's the blanket for all? I was going to come lay with you, but everything is locked. He says, you coming? She says, not to you. He says, did you dip in the car? I'm not getting service. Are you getting a ride home? He says, I'm trying to leave by 4:30, 4:45. She said, okay. He says, are you going to get a ride or want me to drive you? Let me know, because if you get a ride, I'll just dip now. He says, I'm about to leave. He says, I'm going. Unless you start coming right now or at least answer. And that was at 4:38 p.m. And then at 5:38, she says, you seriously just effed up. He says, you couldn't just leave it and go and let me go to dinner with my grandparents. Oh my God, he didn't even get to see his grandparents. Cuff says, I'm fixing a Crown and Diet Coke. Oh, sharing is caring. She says, he says, you couldn't even let me go to dinner with my grandparents. She says, you couldn't be a good boyfriend. You can't do anything. All you know is toxic and fake love. She says, you want to know why I have so much hate? It's probably from you because everything you put me through. He says, Kenzie, please just stop. My grandparents are only in town a couple days. I just want to be able to enjoy my time with them. This is really sad. Kenzie says, maybe you shouldn't have been an effing DICK and a shitty boyfriend and a terrible friend. Like literally, you have just been the worst. She says, and you think it's okay and something to push to the side. She said, you just effing ruin everything. You always have to just do what I don't want you to do. And then she's sending links or something. She says, yep, you done. He says, I was in the shower. She says, I don't care. What the actual F? Are you unable to do anything? Like, is it that hard? Why is it so hard for you to just be a good boyfriend? Why is it so hard for you to read the text I send you? She says, I'm going to give you 2 seconds. So open the door or we're breaking up. I would open the door right now. I would open the door now. You lied. You said you would never lock me out. She says, we are done. Open the effing door right now. Like, what the actual F? I'm going to give you one last chance before I leave. He says, just come over. She says, you have 5 minutes left on your timer before I leave. And when I leave, I will never talk to you again. And I'm going to go to a party tonight. So you can be mature, let your girlfriend in the house and have a normal conversation with her. That should only take a minute or two, or you could just be done. He says, Kenzie, you threatened to break a bunch of shit if I let you in. She says, I'm only going to break shit if you don't let me in. He says, are you not coming to dinner? She says, if you let me in, I'm not going to do shit. I thought you were smart enough to realize I should have known. I need to charge my phone first and get water and talk to you. But if you can't let me do any of that, I'm not coming to dinner. Dom says, Kenzie, I'll grab you water from over here. My house already locked up. She says, okay, and now you can come unlock it so I can get my portable charger. And I'm not telling you where it is. Dom says, are you coming to dinner? She said, there's 2 minutes left on the timer. I'm only coming to dinner if you let me get my portable charger and drink water. You're too immature to face any of your problems. You like to hide behind mommy. Dom laughs at her message. She says, I'm going to take pictures. Can you roll a fatty and give Rosie $40 worth of bud? Okay. So let me see. What time was the earlier message? 6:48. And then at 8:42, she's asking for weed for Rosie. Okay, I see. Rosie wants to participate in all of this and then act like she ain't do nothing in 2025. Gypsy Girl says, I'm stressed. Our Dom is going to die in a few days. I know. This is like your movie you were talking. Yeah. Thank you, Gypsy Girl, for the super chat again. I appreciate you very much. Very much so. Satan, I know. Tish says, this is a video. This is a video. Yes, this is the video that we were just watching. And I have that under the videos section, the tab under videos, so you guys can go listen to it. She says, give Rosie weed. She says, bruh, what can he do? What can we do? Let me know now. Dom said, did you go take pics? Kenzie said, not yet. She said, on the way now. He says, be careful. He says, how long are you going to be? It's not the best idea out there late, so just be careful. Don't be dumb. Kenzie says, I'll be careful. He says, how's it going at 11:21 with a bunch of question marks? She says, on the way home. She says, want to still party? He says, you made me nervous. She said, Dom says, yeah, we can go. He says, just got harassed by the cops so bad at 2:29 a.m. She says, WTF? Okay. And then it jumps to 10:14 in the morning. This is the 22nd. He says, garbage day. He says, get it all together. I don't think we're going to see like that much closer to the accident. She is ruthless. Yeah, she is. He says, are you not here? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And then she's sending a picture of something, maybe a menu. It's 3:35 p.m. She says, hurry. She said, Elvis's peanut butter banana. Did you get them? The wings? Dom, did you? He says, not yet. You want anything from Heinen's? She says, chocolate. She says, more yogurt, please. He said, what kind of yogurt? What kind of chocolate? She says, the only one I get, salty chocolate. He says, I need to know the brands. She said, I don't know what brands. I just know what it looks like. Dom says, I don't know then. She said, and the brown wrap chocolate. He says, I can't Instacart it. She says, bruh. He says, and I'm not looking through it all. He says, because I'm driving. She says, bruh. He says, figure it out. And then I'll order it with the wings. He says, found the yogurt and the chocolate. You're welcome. Also, everything be here by 8:10. She said, bet. I'll be over ASAP. She said, how much for a half? He said, depends. Talk to me when you come. About to shower real quick. She said, okay, bet. And now it's the 23rd. She says, WTF? She says, quiet. Now. WTF? Now. Now. He says, are you up? On the 23rd at 10:37 a.m. A week before the crash. Dom says, you up? She said, yes. She says, I want to go canoe. He said, coffee, please. He said, where? She said, Walava Lake or a river. He said, can I get my things done first? She said, I'm with Smokey. Where are you? Where are you? Are you trying to piss me off? It's now 9:59 p.m. She says, like, WTF? She says, yeah, I'm mad at you. He said, I'm not. She said, I'm going to go home in 5 minutes, so I would answer. She says, 10:05 and I'm gone. It's literally 10 p.m. He says, what? Question mark. She says, you can read. He says, why are you mad? She said, why did you just waste my time picking through that giant bag, making me think we're going to do something fun tonight, and then you just get up and go do something with Angelo? Thank you for wasting my effing time and making me think we're going to do something fun, like WTF. She said, not sure what you're typing right now, but I'm seriously leaving in 3 minutes. Dom says, I'm not doing anything. I went to get a piece of pizza, and I told you, no drink. I said I would try. Kenzie says, I mean, we literally have it. And that's not even the problem. Dom said, we can have movie night without it. Kenzie says, I don't want to. Dom says, what's the problem? Kenzie said, the problem is making me think we're going to do something fun. Then you just leave to go get pizza with Angelo. That's my problem, clearly, if you can read. She says, like, I can just leave and go home. She says, oh my God. She says, you didn't even ask Davion what the parties or something like. I want to go have fun. I don't want to just sit here and do nothing. Davion knew where all the parties were at. Oh. She says, I'm leaving in 1 minute, so I would figure yourself out. Dom says, you should have told me or asked him. You were texting him. Wait, she was texting him, but like, if Dom did that with Hannah or one of her friends, Kenzie would literally freak out. Wow. Okay, let me get. I said that about her and Davion a while ago. What was? I don't know why I feel like there's something more there with Davion. Not necessarily a relationship, but like maybe, or maybe she had a crush on him, or maybe he knew stuff about her from being around Dom and her, or maybe she was just jealous of Davion too. Dom says, you were texting him. She says, why the F would I ask him? You were texting him as well. Let me know when to come. She says, Dom, on the 24th at 1:36 p.m. He says, what? She says, let me know when to come. He says, I will. She says, bet, I'm about to go to the bathroom. He says, come so we can go get alternator. Bring my money. She said, what money? She said, WTF. She said, what money? Dom says, think I'ma just get a tow. Kenzie says, let me know. Dom says, pull up. We waiting for tow guy. She said, okay, bet. She said, what money? Question mark. He said, no. She says, just pull up. Or there might be money in my room on the dresser. Bring that for tow guy. He said, filet is bad. Should have cooked it yesterday. He says that at 6 p.m. on the 24th. He says, I'm not getting Hainan steaks no more. Dom says, did you get Davion? Okay. Davion's like really much involved a week before she murders them both. I can't help but think that it was not a coincidence that he was in the car. Yeah, the party was Davion's friend. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it does, Alicia. I think I need some. He says, did you get Davion? She says, no. Didn't he hit you up? She was going to pick him up. Kenzie said he did. He's getting ready. Dom said, okay, so he knew you're getting him? She says, not yet. I asked when. She said, Davion is taking a long time to come out. Makes me feel like I'm in the wrong place. Dom says, you're in the right place. Kenzie says, why is he taking so long? Dom says, I don't know. Kenzie says, bruh. Dom says, did he come yet? Call him. She said, I just told him to hurry up. He said he's coming. Then I said, hurry. She says, what the F? She says, where you at 10:03 p.m.? She says, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Okay, so they were partying nights before. That party where they went together wasn't the only party that Davion was with them that week. On the 25th, 6 days before the crash, and we're almost done, you guys. He said, Kenzie said, the salad cats are back. Dom said, oh shit. She said, what? She says, I'm here. He says, might need a salad kit. She says, open door. Oh my God, I think we're done. He says, that's a dude. Kenzie says, that's a dude over there. What the F? She says, Cardone. Oh, wait. So it jumps from... So she's saying open door on the 25th. She said, that's a dude on the 28th at 4:24 p.m. Kenzie said, over there. WTF. On the 29th. And then on the 30th, she says, Cardone, turn it down at 1:41 a.m. She says, or off. She said, that shit is annoying and loud. And it ends there on the 30th. That shit is annoying and loud. And then the next day is the crash. Oh my God. So they were just proving within the last few days that they were fighting. Oh my God. That is crazy. I got chills. I know. I can't believe it. Tasha says, I think it's very possible she was going out at Dom per usual, accusing him of cheating, and Davian probably defended him and she went crazy. Wow. I know. I can't believe we made it to the end, but this is not the end. Tomorrow, we will cover Nasty Steve Shirilla. The text messages. I'm crying for them. I know, I want to cry too. I thought at least we would have the text the night of. There had to be, right? I don't know. There had to be. I wish we had Davion's text. I'll try. They didn't release the text messages of that night. I wonder why. I wonder if that was like one of the ultimatums for her to take like that plea deal. Wait, that wasn't a plea deal. She got convicted. There's more text for sure. Not in this FOIA package. It doesn't matter what happened. She killed him. Shook. It doesn't matter what happened. It matters whose foot was on the pedal, regardless if it was a pink slipper. As much as they texted, I think they just didn't include them for whatever reason. There was something in there. Okay. Yeah, Marybeth, I will. I'm crying because I'm livid, shocked, and sad. There has to be. They said she was texting him that night. I bet those texts were sealed before the judge, the ones we aren't seeing. Yeah, I wonder why they sealed them. Yeah, there's no way that's it. These two texts about what clothes to wear, I know. It makes me sad. Wow. I read 31,697 pages of text messages. That is wild. Wow. I know. So let's see. We're going to continue, Kenzie. We're going to cover some older stuff. And like I said, I have text messages with her dad that I want to go over. I have text messages with Rose and Gracie. So I might split those. And then I'm looking to see what else I have. And then we're going to start going through all the social media. So if you thought we were done with Kenzie, please, babe, let's think again. We are nowhere near close to being done. And now you have me all day long. Therefore, we will be getting into it. Thank you. So she's texting about the party. Yeah. Oh, thank you, 𝐿𝐸𝐴. Magnificent job. Thank you. I love you guys. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to talk about a bunch of true crime cases. And like I said, I don't know if I want to do Friends or Steve first for the text messages. You let me know what you want to hear first. The social media will be good. It will be. I've been working on it the last few days. Thank you, Tasha. And shout out to my mods for being here. And thank you, Cuffy, for the super chat and all of you guys for being here and supporting and the super chats and all of it. Yes. Yes. I want to revisit a lot of the older interviews too. So we might have like, we might have to go through all of those interviews. Oh, you're fine. Thank you guys for being here. You could show all her selfies. Yeah, I am. That will take a year. Yeah. It's a lot. I have been having to blur some of the things I want to show you because she's like smoking the bong. In one picture, she has mushrooms on her tongue. It's crazy. It's crazy. I wish we could see. I know. Thank you so much. I've been faithful. Shout out to all of you guys for being faithful and for not being faithful. I mean, it is what it is. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Saying a chat, yeah, it feels like we all need one. We do. And I will see you guys for Kenzie tomorrow. We're going to continue it. I want to cover some of the interviews too with their friends. I think I need to re-listen after we've read all the texts. What time tomorrow? You guys have me full time now. So basically you guys don't have to complain anymore or miss me too much because I'll just be here posted up on the StreamYard. So Kenzie tomorrow, I'll try to do Kenzie like during the day. I think I would want to do Kenzie during the day tomorrow, but we're also starting Brian Kohberger tomorrow and a bunch of other cases that I have just been putting on the back end to get through these text messages. And then we're going to finish going through all of the Kenzie stuff. And I just got FOIAs on a couple new cases. So I need to do that. And I have 9 other lives that I have to get to. So meet us in an hour. Yeah, literally meet us in an hour and after dark. Okay. Thank you guys. Please, please, please hit the like button on the way out. Hype the live up as well. And also don't forget, I'm dropping a second channel link. Possibly even tomorrow it'll be ready. So I definitely want you guys to come support there as well. Yes, hit the like button on your way out. I love you guys so, so much for hanging out and being real ones while we got through all of these text messages. And thank you for all the super chats and the support. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.